And here we are back, and we are ready to follow the match between Katerina Lagno and Nana Dzagnidze. Here we see the calm face of both players. They are both in the identical position, just very focused and be ready. What do you think? Do you have a ritual before a chess game? Or how do you approach, Almira?
Well, actually, I can see that both players are incredibly concentrated, and I think that the ritual, especially for those who have kids, and Katerina has 4, Nana has 2, is to close the door and to have like 15 minutes of silence. So
Yeah, that's great.
Yes. So the Grunfeld, Katerina Lagno is a very experienced Grunfeld player. Let's see if Nana has prepared some novelty. They're going for the classical line for the moment. Let's see, Queen A4. No.
It's a sideline Queen A4, I think.
Yes, exactly. So I wanted to know if Nana is going to play like the classical line with Knight F3. Katerina seems puzzled.
What is the idea of this Queen A4? This sideline?
Yeah, the sideline is actually, first of all, this Knight D7, after Knight F3, you always have this classical line with Bishop G4. So this completely changes the spirit of the play, which will happen later. Queen A4, there is no pin, the knight develops on F3, and then also, on the other hand, Knight D7, C5 is a very typical plan. So maybe that's why Queen A3, you see? That's why Nana prepared this. So I'm not sure if... still C5. Okay, so this must be some home preparation already, because I'm not familiar with this line as well. So I will be learning with you.
Yeah, and both players are playing extremely fast. So we have the feeling that they know exactly what to do. Also because C5 is hanging a pawn right now.
Of course, but look, because at some point I had Nana looked puzzled, she looked somewhere, chess players have this habit to look somewhere like on the sky, on the ceiling, what is going on. That's exactly what I wanted to say, that C5, B6, and this time the bishop goes to B7 because bishop G4, of course, is no longer possible. So this all is absolutely natural on both sides. I think d takes c5 was simply a mistake, because after queen c7 there was no real way to protect this pawn, and especially after bishop a3 you had b6. I mean, just if we can come back a little bit later, no, just before yes, bishop b2, yes, here, yes, here queen c7, or you see, I think this position is already quite dangerous. Bishop b3.
Both pawns on the c5 looks very weak, and probably after bishop e3,
exactly.
b6.
And especially in Grunfeld, you really want to have this strong center, so Nana will keep it like she did in the game. So she played bishop b2, b6. Let's see what happened. And bishop b3, c takes d4, yes. This for me seems rather balanced for the moment. Both sides are doing, well, they continue with the most typical plans in this position. So let's see how, first of all, Nana will protect the pawn on e4.
Yeah.
And at some point, yes, one thing, Alicia, I wanted to say that also the idea of this variation of queen f4, in Grunfeld, you attack the d4 pawn by playing knight c6. So one of the strategical idea of this position is that knight is on d7, and it's rather limited. So it will probably have to go to f6. So I'm thinking maybe knight d2 now. Nana played already knight d2? Yes, okay. Knight d2, knight f6, and then I can simply play f3, and your bishop on b7 will be, knight c5. What a beautiful move.
Yeah, the knight is not hanging because the bishop on g7 is looking at the rook on a1. So, and the knight from c5 is, of course, targeting the pawn on e4. But what's the difference according to you?
The difference is actually that on f3 I will probably play knight e6. This is a very interesting idea, because you can no longer play d5, then I will still take your rook, and you will have to deal like with this pawn. And also maybe after f3 I can still take on d4 immediately. That's what I'm asking myself. If there are no tactics after f3, I can take. So e5 is forced.
Beautiful, beautiful knight c5. Nice.
So knight e6 probably, yes, that's what was played. And how to protect the d4 pawn now? G2
Yeah,
is hanging
also
as well.
G2 is under
Yes.
attack, yeah.
So what to do? Knight f3, you can, well, there could be a very long tactical line. Knight f3, bishop f3, bishop f3, knight d4, maybe you can still take on a8. But then knight c2, you lose the queen. Maybe this is possible. Knight f3, bishop f3. It's not a natural decision, to give up your bishop, but if tactically this decision is supported, then I can take bishop f3 and take on d4. So that's what happened actually.
You are the prophet, because exactly it happened exactly like this. So now black is a pawn up.
Yes, and maybe black will also win the pawn on e5. I think that, okay, rook is hanging. So pawn on e7 is hanging, then pawn s5. Maybe rook b8. So if you will take on a7, I will take on e5. And rook e1, then rook d8. Okay,
So
queen
black is
a7.
completely ignoring, is not protecting, and this actually also the pawn on a7.
Yes, but that's what I'm telling. I'm thinking what pawn you should take actually here, a7, then on queen a5, but I can play rook e1, take on e7. I think Nana is calculating actually which variation is best, queen e7 and then queen a7. But what I was thinking that then maybe black can take on a1, and in this position, two rooks will be much better than a queen, probably. So let's say.
Yeah, I think it will go exactly in this way. It seems like. I'm curious to see what Nana prepared after bishop take e5.
Maybe queen a5 is more precise. I protect on e7. But on the other hand, that's why I wanted to play rook b8, and Nana can play queen b6, take the pawn. So maybe bishop
and it's better
b5.
to give away the b6 pawn rather than e7 pawn.
No, it's better to give away, of course, the e7 pawn in this variation, yes. But so bishop b5, we should start. And maybe there is an intermediate, rook a d1 on bishop b5. You see bishop b5, rook a d1 now. So you will have to play queen c5. Okay, the opposite color bishops still give white very good chances for a draw in this game. So let's see. Maybe rook b1, also possible, rook a b1.
Yeah. So removing the rook for the target, and also looking at the pawn on b6.
Yes, on b6, but then rook b1, rook g6. Maybe Nana missed this move. I can protect the pawn. So this is also, and this is a very, very nice position for the rook. So Nana plays rook d1. But what I don't understand is the computer analysis. Yes, she missed queen a4, so she's losing like in one move. She blundered.
Oh, and we have a mate on the board.
Yes, this is a huge blunder for white.
Yeah.
Just show maybe that after g3 we could take on f3. So there was absolutely no defense after queen f4.
Yeah, incredible.
So let's see, e4, c5, neither, maybe. Knight c6. Okay, let's see what Nana has prepared for this match.
This format is in some way brutal because you really have to rematch immediately after a game. So it's really, you don't have time to recover from the shock of a loss, but you need immediately to make a breath and go on.
Exactly. I've never played under such pressure. I have to admit already. Well, I've played a few Armageddon's games, and I know that like my hands are shaking, so I cannot even imagine what the players are feeling at this moment. Of course, that's only beginning of the match. But I wanted to say that first in this game it started with a 4-knight Sicilian. Katerina Lagno chose knight db5, which transposed after Nana's choice to the Sveshnikov Sicilian, and because here actually, well, they had a lot of options. Nana could have played bishop b4. Ekaterina could take on c6, could have taken on c6. So this is actually one of the calmest positions. The structure is very simple to understand. white is always fighting for the d5 square, for the control of the d5 square. Bishop h6 is a very good move, actually, because you simply want to exchange this bishop and to take on a3. This is one of the strategical ideas of this opening. h4 is also very typical. She even castles now, so she will probably take on e3 after h5.
And so white has a strong knight on the d5 square, and now he's trying to open up the h5.
Oh, she doesn't want, Nana wants to keep this bishop. Okay, she's afraid that when I will open the h file, yes. But I cannot see an easy way to transfer the queen, because queen f3, queen h3 is not possible, queen h5 is not possible. Another strategical idea for white would be to play g3 here, c3 and g3, and to develop the bishop on g2 or on e2 or bishop h3 even. I need to exchange for white. It would be very important to exchange the light color bishops.
And, yeah, because he's controlling the d5 square.
Compared to the classical Sveshnikov Sicilian, there is a very big difference that normally black play b5. That's the huge difference. Here, as you can see, the pawn is on b7. So the only weakness, strategical weakness here in the position, in black's position, is the pawn on d6. Rook c8 also is a very nice move. Another positional idea which could be used here, and I was wondering why Nana didn't play knight e7, because you see, I'm trying to hold on my grip on d5, but knight e7 simply forces you to exchange something here. So I would have played, I was also a Sveshnikov player myself in the past, so I really like this position. So then you exchange, then you play f5, and you actually fight for the initiative.
Yeah, I've played this with white. And I always like the idea of trying to get the control of the d5 square. But as you were telling, can become very extremely dynamical after f5, and black has the bishop. So if the position is opening up, they can be very strong. Of course, the dream is to play knight against the dark color bishop that is very passive on e7 maybe, and then white can attack on several points, but we are far away from that.
Of course, and as you can see, Nana immediately, when I told you that when she has the possibility to play for the initiative, she sees this immediately. And very often she will sacrifice 1 pawn, 2 pawn for the initiative. She likes very much to sacrifice the exchange, like positional sacrifice, especially in the Sicilian. So here, actually, I think well, as a Sveshnikov player, I think her position is actually very nice. You have this avalanche of pawn. I'm not sure about this e4 move, because she wants to play e4 and knight e5. I can understand this. But do I have some intermediate with queen h5 here? I was not sure, queen h5, maybe rook h8, yes? But I'm always...
Then the queen looks very aggressive there. But you risk maybe some discovery attack.
Yes, no, but after queen h5, rook h8 was not possible, because I could take on f5, maybe sacrifice the bishop on d3 with some crazy attack, but this is blitz. You see, there are a lot of moves that you are making instinctively, the plans. It's not so easy to calculate everything. And as we have seen in the first game, Nana blundered like almost after the opening, I think she was disappointed with her position. It didn't go her way. And, she simply, well, after queen f4, she was losing a piece.
Yeah.
So rook h8.
The position looks a mess right now. The king is on g7, is exposed. Also, the white king is on e1 still. So no player is really a safe king. I would say that white king is not really in danger right now, because it's not a possibility to attack. But if the pawns f and d are starting to be pushed, can look dangerous.
I am trying to find the right way for white to long castle. It's not so easy, because even if you long castle with this bishop on h6, which Nana kept, then you can play f4, you know, and these pawns are very mobile. So then f3, and you will lose your queen if you will put it on e2. So this actually explains why Katerina Lagno is still thinking. There isn't, for me, there's no clear way, you know, to castle here. She has to be very precise. I'm thinking about some crazy move here like g4, but it doesn't really work, I think. It looks very dangerous.
Yeah, but it's also, yeah, she's putting a rook on
She
g1.
played rook
So
g1 with this
probably,
idea, exactly.
yeah. But as you said, this is not so easy to find a place for the king right now, because on c1 looks really dangerous.
But then I'm asking myself, like, if I play knight e5 right now, g4 is met by knight f3. And as well, this position is, of course, is a total mess, complete chaos. And Nana feels like a fish, you know, in the water. That's her position. It suits her style very well. So knight e5 was played, and now really, I don't know. I really
queen
think
d4 now.
Queen d4, but then you can, well, you cannot play f4 anyways. So after queen d4, maybe I can somehow improve the position of my king. Maybe then I can play king f7. Then I think after queen d4, king f7. So f4, this is such a responsible move. If you take en passant, of course, e takes f3, g takes f3 is check.
Yes.
And then king f7, you f4 once again, but queen h4. Oh my god, this starts to be very unclear.
Yeah, this looks crazy. As you said, Nana is really going for the mess.
So rook g2, queen h1, and then king, well, they will exchange queens after king f2, I suppose.
One good point of this f4 g3 is now the bishop on h6 is blocked. So actually the king could theoretically also go towards that side, but the king is going to f2 to support all the pieces there around.
King on f2 is actually very safe right now. You very rightfully said that since black couldn't take on f3, this f4 g3 just simply gives such safety to white's king. And then after knight g4, I will simply take knight g4, and these pawns will fall. e4 pawn will fall. Okay, now actually I think that before I thought that black was better, but you really need to keep your queens on the board. So it's a big achievement for white, you know, to exchange the queens here.
Yeah, now the pawn on d6 looks really still weak. And do you think is white going for g4, opening up the g file?
Not for the moment, because, you know, then it will open this h6 bishop, as you said before, you know. Now these bishops are not looking that great, you know, even because from the strategic point of view, white achieved everything. They have the grip on d5, they limited the bishop's activity, and later on, yes, when white will prepare their plan, maybe put the king on e3, protect on e4, then play g4, and oh, even g4 now. So you see, I was wrong. But it goes to my variation, yes. So maybe she will take now, yes, with knight, and then the e5 pawn.
f5, wow.
But actually, you see, because
tactic.
Yes, tactically it was not really supported, because I think white maybe had to prepare this g4 push. So,
yeah, that's true.
I have the feeling, but still it's blitz, and Katerina has only 20 seconds left. But Nana as
They're
well. You know,
both in big time trouble. Yeah, and here there is so black has
because yes, rook h3. Oh my god, king goes to the center, rook f4.
So black is a pawn up, and the pawn on g4 is protected by the bishop.
You're absolutely right.
White has this king that is very central. Do you think that in this position the king is weak or is a strong piece?
Well, for the moment, actually, the king needs to worry about this g pawn, and that's exactly why Katerina plays rook e3. So, of course, you need to activate your king, but you also need to, to stop this pawn from the promotion and maybe to win it. So to double on the g file, she wants to play rook f3. She wants actually,
2 seconds.
yeah, she wants to hold this position in an active way. So she doesn't want to, she forgot about rook h2. I think black, she will convert, but she has only 2 seconds.
Yeah, now the other rook.
I feel these games like I was playing, like I'm playing myself,
No, it's so hard to see this because both players have really 1 second. They're making a move with 0.5, 0. It's crazy. And now White managed to take the pawn. And this means that White is now a pawn up and White will try to push here.
Of course, now Katerina will try to convert. She's given such an unexpected chance. And now, especially in these positions, you can probably make some pre-moves, and try. She needs to advance her king now. King d3, maybe.
Yeah, and try to get more time on the clock because we saw that with time, everyone can do lots of blunders. And Nana has really very few time, but now she can give lots of check. And so she can maybe have a bit more time, but she's not pre-moving. She's still on 1 second, 0.7.
Oh my God, this is so difficult. I know myself how difficult it is when you have so little time, but this is a draw now.
Is incredible. She moved with 0.2 and now she lost on time.
Oh my God, so she forgot about time again. So, well, Katerina, for the moment, she dominates, even though this time the opening didn't go her way. So Grunfeld once again. Let's see, maybe knight f3 this time. Oh, there are a lot of lines now. Queen a4, she still goes for, probably she has prepared this line, for the blitz match. And also, let's not forget that these players will meet in the candidates tournament later in the year. So sometimes you do not reveal your preparation in the blitz match. They're very careful, even though they're playing for such incredible prize fund.
Yeah, I see on the layout that the news that Lagno and Grishok are the strongest chess couple in the world. It's incredible how strong and how high the rating is, no?
Yes, exactly. Actually, once I've asked myself, like, when is this couples world championship is going to be organized, because there are a lot of strong couples in the world and they are just amazing blitz players, just if you names pop in, like Anish Giri and Sophie Kod and Alexandra Kostyanyuk and Pavel Trigubov. You have Alina Kashlinskaya, Radislav Vaitashik, Daniel Friedman and Anna Zatonskих, and there is a plethora of these beautiful couples, and so this would be very interesting to see. But let's have a look. This time Nana put the bishop on d3 and Katerina still plays knight c5.
Yeah.
During the tournament, you have time to improve on your variations. So you quickly switch on the computer, even if you have like 10 minutes break, you can improve. You can, have a look at the recent opening theory. You can switch on the computer. You can have your coach to give you an advice. In this format, it is simply not possible. So she already thought, like, after the game, okay, what would be better? And then bishop d3, knight c5, she leaves this bishop, on priest. So knight d3, queen d3, she goes for this line.
So here you can improve a game just by yourself with your own mind, but it's kind of a nice way also, because if not, sometimes a battle of stockfish, but like this, you have to find a solution yourself. So of course there is a known preparation that is valuable, but in a way it's exciting that you have to figure out a solution yourself.
But actually, that's the way like the old school works. Like, I'm the classical representative of this old school. So very often I try to analyze it from the human perspective. And then, I switch on the computer, and then the computer tells me, "Oh, you're blundering the rook." But here it's more about positional ideas. So I think these players are so strong, so they are able to improve on their own game within 2 seconds. she understands like where the game went wrong, and she decides to go for this position. Okay, this is once again balanced. And actually, I think that Nana had this idea in the previous game. She wanted to play h4. That's why she put the bishop in e2, maybe delay castle in an artificial way. So even here, she still tries to play the h4. h5 was probably, not sure if it's forced, but now have a look at this position. The strategic idea for for white would be to play bishop e5 to exchange this bishop, and then maybe even have some advantage, some small edge. So I'm really curious if Nana will play bishop b5 here, or queen e3, bishop h6. There are two ways.
And bishop a5 is played. And what do you think should black do here? Should change, place the bishop on e6? Looks a bit risky.
Actually, I'm already questioning the move h5. You should be really careful with those moves. You know, I'm not sure, maybe h6 was preferable. But still, you know, queen a4 is a very good move, because as you can see, well, a2 is hanging, but they can still play rook a1 and take on a7. But in this position, you need to exchange the queens once again. So maybe, and you need to control the queen d4 as well. So queen a4 is a very good move. So how to continue here? E takes d5, takes on d5, maybe queen c4 immediately, or rook d8. Rook d8 was played. So both options are very interesting, I guess. And there is no way for white to put the queen on this long diagonal. I was thinking about queen d2, queen b2. But after d6, you see, bishop f3 becomes possible as well. So if your queen moves, then your structure will be horrible.
Yeah, and what do you think about the pawn on d6? So this pawn is a pass pawn. It's two-step for becoming a queen. Is it a weakness? Can black attack it more times and capture it? Or is a pawn that is making all the black pieces passive in order to avoid that he can advance? What do you think about this pawn?
Well, it could be both, actually. It's a double-edged pawn, if I can say. For the moment, it's a very impressive pass pawn, and especially for blitz, I would think that it's more an advantage. But here, especially like from a rational point of view, it can be attacked. For example, black rooks are blocking it. Then I can also take on f3, play rook c6. So rook e7 is very nice. So I would probably play bishop takes f3 now, so you have to take on f3.
Yeah, and after this, the endgame, if white is going to change the queens, if black is going to change the queens, then I think this endgame,
it's not so sure. So queen f3, g takes f3. Now rook c6 is probably met by d7, and I simply threaten rook e8. You know, so you have to be careful. And on the other hand, you have this maneuver, rook d4, rook f4. You know, you also have to be careful about this. I can give up my pawn, but then I will double on the sevens, and then like king h6 is rook h7 mate already. So this is also possible, and even possible after after d7, rook d4, rook f4. So g7 now, and
for example, the king might get to f6 at one point, attacking the rook, and then black might be able to capture the pawn.
Exactly, but after d7, I think Katerina wanted to play rook e6, so now it's going to be a draw. That's why Nana took on a7, and well, black has a better structure, but okay, it's an equal ending.
Yeah. Here should be both players have more than enough time, and here is very easy to make safe pre-move. So should not be.
You know, Lisa, I think that maybe black will try. She will play king f6, king e6, then f6. No, she goes like for the h4 pawn. Okay, maybe yes. From the practical point of view, this is a better try, but still, it doesn't change the evaluation of the position. I want
still, this looks like you know, the pawn on f3, f2 is like they are one pawn. So it feels like black might have some chances by pushing pawns. At least try to put pressure on black. Probably it should be objectively a draw. But it's very nice in chess, especially with so few time. I say mostly that in this time control, even a small hedge can be a huge advantage because it might allow you to make faster move and to put always pressure to the opponent. And if you always have to defend, always to think, you cannot do two active moves, then suddenly you might get in trouble.
You're absolutely right, Alicia. And one thought that I had is that when you're defending those endings, or you are defending a slightly worse ending, well, okay, both players are like so strong that I'm not doubting their theoretical knowledge, but sometimes you can simply forget that one position could be a theoretical draw and not go for it when you're having 2 seconds, so that's the difficulty. When you have, like in a classical game, you have time to figure out like 1 or 2 minutes, you go for this position, this is a theoretical draw. This is much more difficult than blitz.
Mm-hmm.
So,
No,
well,
I
here
agree.
I really think that the game will end in a draw, but I also know that when it comes down to 1 second, here we have enough time, like nerves play a very important role.
Yeah, and now it seems like white is risking to get in a zugzwang because black, if white is removing the rook, black might consider to put a rook on f4 and maybe to take on f3 if possible. And then if another pawn is taken, then g4 can be pushed. So I'm curious to see.
King f4.
Yeah, and of course, if white is attacking the pawn on f6, white can even consider to push f5. But now, can black take on f3?
Yes. But I'm wondering rook f3, rook f8, then h3 check. She starts with h3 check. Okay.
Oh, beautiful. Because now maybe black can take maybe both pawns with the king and then f2 with check. And if rook f8, oh no, the pawn on a6 would be hanging.
Yes, but now as you can see, the position completely changes. So I think now black is winning but you need to be careful that in that variation, actually rook f3, I think rook f8 could have saved white. So now
I would have played gf5 actually.
F5, yes, I like the move f5. You're absolutely right.
Because it seems like then you can grab the pawn on f2 with check.
But f5, then rook f8 probably was the move, and then what do you do?
Oh, I would have taken on f2 with check, and then maybe rook f3.
Yes, but then I simply promote. That's the problem. You always have to be careful because the pawn already get to the a7, and then yes, in these variations you always have to be very careful, just not to lose a tempo. So I'm pretty sure there was a very precise variation. We can even have a look at this position, like after we will finish this portion of the match, because I think it's very interesting. And as you can see now, the king went to g6 and now rook f8. You make a draw. So Nana saved the game.
Yeah.
So
yeah, now should be a draw. But incredible how an equal game, an equal position can still be very difficult to
so are we going to have a thematical match today? Yes, the Grunfeld and the Sveshnikov.
Yeah, I think that once the time control change, we might see some new openings.
You see, that's what I said. She doesn't go for the main line b5, Nana Dzagnidze. She goes for this bishop b6, which actually became very popular lately. A lot of the recent developments in the series, which is considered to be, it could actually start with e5 first, not knight c6, knight f6, c5. The Kalashnikov Sicilian. And the main idea is that you economize the tempo on b5, and very often in the Sveshnikov, b5 could be exploited. You play a4, and then bishop takes, like b takes a4, rook a4, your pawn on a6 is hanging. So this is the main positional advantage from this move order. Well, they go for the same position. It seems that both players are quite happy with the opening phase. So king g7 was played in the first game. Let's see if Nana changes something here.
Yeah, basically after f5, we got at a position where actually black was doing really great. So
yes, for the moment, yes, Nana needs to play king g7 to protect the. If she doesn't want to play bishop e3, she needs to play king g7, and she's probably wondering why on earth Katerina is playing the same variation once again, because she was much better. She's afraid that maybe she like blundered something on the way. So.
Or she figured out something else. So bishop d3. And now are we expecting f5?
Actually, what I'm thinking, sometimes when you play f5, you can sacrifice on f5 and you have this queen g4 and you win the piece back. But here you always have queen g5. So you see, Nana plays knight e7, the idea that I mentioned in the first game. Yeah. I was wondering why she didn't play knight e7 and rook c8. So this is, I think, a more precise strategical idea here. This, especially after bishop d3. As you can see, I can no longer take knight d5, and queen d5. You want to take with the piece on d5 when you exchange all these things.
Yeah, because after you take with the pawn, you can start to advance easily f5, f4, even e4. You can, and the pawn on d6 is no longer a problem. It's no longer weak. So it's a bit a dream for black to get that position with the pawn on d5 and start to push f5, e4 if possible.
Well, I feel that Nana is always getting better positions out of this opening. I really like the way she plays it, and it's not so easy to create. Well, you need to castle long here with white. So, but how to do this once again in an elegant manner? Because I really think that queen f3 would be met here by f5 with some devastating initiative. So.
Yeah. Again, it's not so easy to place the king in a safe place.
And you can no longer castle because you see this bishop on g5, it simply doesn't give you the possibility to castle. How do you castle?
Yeah, it's a monster.
How do you connect your rooks? Because in order to have a perfect attack with white, you need to connect your rooks. So f5, knight e3. Katerina needs to be careful.
Where is this knight going?
Well, I think it should go back to d5, but after bishop d5, he takes d5. You already explained that this position is much easier to play for black.
Yeah, I agree.
You really need to take with the piece. I would say that another positional idea that I mentioned would be to play bishop c4 and to exchange this white square bishop. So maybe it could be possible, but for example, if we make some move and I play bishop c4, then I like just make a random move like b6, like b6, then bishop c4. I think that bishop b3 probably works here. You know, there is some tactic. Bishop takes on e3, the knight, and then you see that's why probably this idea. How do you take bishop b6? I have bishop f2 check. You know, just show you the variation. So bishop b6, bishop f2, you see. So this is maybe some tactical justification, but who knows?
Yeah, and now white is forced to take back, and then the queen will take here. But cannot use the h file.
You need to connect your rooks. You need to castle. So let's see what happened in the game.
Yeah, let's see.
Yes, because you know, she's still thinking, Nana. You see, and knight d5.
Oh, wow. So now we have again another opposite color bishop, but there are rooks and queen on the board, and mostly here. When there are opposite color bishop, the position is far away from being a draw because for the moment each side has an extra piece on one color of the board. So black is having one extra piece on the dark square, and white is having an extra piece on the light square. So My coach always told me to attack. The initiative is important in this kind of position because you can attack your opponent with an extra piece on
Please
one
tell
side
me
of the board.
who was this wise man? Who is your coach? Because you're absolutely right, and especially here, the opposite color bishops endgames with heavy pieces. You still have queens and rooks on boards. What is the most important is the activity of your bishop, and I still have the feeling that once again there was a critical moment during the game. Nana was thinking for a while, and I think that she failed to find, maybe the most concrete, like principled continuation. She went for this line. As you can see, white still cannot castle, but it's easier now to defend with white this position. And even to seize the initiative. I'm wondering e3, probably f4. Yes, here.
Yeah,
Queen
incredible.
g4.
E3 seems so crushing, but after f4,
yeah,
the queen is still looks safe there.
And you even, yes, you need to play e3, f4, and now you have this queen h3, queen h7 threat. This is getting once again very messy. But please look at the time. Katerina has 2 minutes 53 seconds. It's absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, it's incredible. And we saw that even if they are extremely strong player, when the time gets few, everyone can blunder, everyone. So b5 in order to undermine the bishop on d5 a little bit.
But she wants on b takes c4, play rook h1, the rook a h1, and with the threat rook h7. So queen f6, I really like this move. So she looks also on the pawn on b2. I think that what Nana wants is to sacrifice the exchange, rook d5 and queen b2, simply winning.
So this looks beautiful.
You need
and
to be careful.
Yeah, I like this move, and I think that white can hide his king on g2.
Yeah,
can be an idea, even if f2 needs to be covered. Okay, she didn't go for the exchange.
No, she couldn't now because I think rook h7 was winning. But well, she needed to calculate, but she's very short on time right now. So maybe rook d5 was still possible, but after rook h7, okay, there were a lot of critical lines.
But I gotta say, after bishop f6 sadly doesn't work.
Yes, you have this rook h7
again, because after, if there would not be rook h7, would be
rook h7 and rook f7. We need to say that not only rook h7 check, but after king f8, rook f7, and I win the piece on f6.
Yeah, so that's why rook e7 was played. Now one pair of rook got exchanged, but maybe white is getting now an active position.
Oh, white is, I think, is much better. Maybe I can take on f3. Katerina is thinking, but bishop f3, now I have bishop f6 and bishop b2. Even rook c2, okay, why not? Maybe, yes, because bishop f6 could be met with king d5, and I bring my king even closer, threatening some mate in the endgame, king d6, king e6. So that's why Nana played rook c2, both pawns are hanging, f2, b2, she wants to play. Where to transpose for Katerina? This is a very interesting question. She wants to play bishop g4 and rook d7.
Bishop g4, maybe rook d7, taking the pawn on d6. Then all the pawns are
hanging, yes.
Hanging,
but
yes.
Still, rook d6. I will probably play rook b2.
Then
No, rook d6, maybe I have even better option. Rook f6. I need to transpose into the opposite color bishop endgame, just one pawn down. So rook d6 is probably met by rook f6. And
so maybe she will play maybe rook b7 if she wants to keep the tension. That's why she's thinking right now.
Maybe she missed, like in her calculation, rook f6, and she needs, like, it's very nice for, like, she's still thinking rook d2 is even better. Yes, okay, we forgot about rook d2.
A bit forced.
Yes, this is a simple draw.
This should be a simple draw, because the important here is to put the pawn in the same color of your bishop, which is mostly counterintuitive, but in this way you're always able to protect them.
And on the other hand, like if you sacrifice your bishop for all the pawns, of course, and you stay like with an h pawn, then the bishop of the wrong color. So you need to find a plan how to sacrifice the bishop. Or to bring your king closer. So Katerina will try to create a passed pawn, and now she needs to bring her king to the b pawn, closer to the b pawn.
Yeah, and she's getting there. And okay, now after king c6, the problem is that b4 needs to be supported by the king. Okay, now should be an easy draw, because I think the bishop can just be placed on any diagonal and take the pawn.
Just take, of course, yes, and then.
Yeah, all right.
Okay. They need, like, according to the blitz rules, they need to play it, yes, till the end. Is there a draw offer possible or not?
I'm not sure. I think we will have the reply after this break, because they have still 30 minutes of this 5+1. I'm really curious to see how the preparation will change after the short break that we're gonna take, because they have a bit of minutes to find a way to put pressure on the opponent. So we are going to wait a short break, be right back, and we are going to continue with 5+1 Nana against Katerina Lagno. And here we are back, and we are ready to go for the second part of the 5+1. There are about 30 minutes to go, and Katerina, Lagno, and Nana are ready. You see, they are focused, probably looking. Do you think they are looking some lines, or do you think they did some preparation? They called shortly their coach? What do you think?
Actually, that's what I wanted to tell you. When I was playing some poker tournaments, this 5 minutes was so-called like bathroom break. But now I actually thought what the players are doing, and I'm pretty sure that they had a look at some opening lines. It is very precious. It could make a crucial difference in the match.
Yeah, I have played this exact format. And I also did the opening preparation in the middle because my boyfriend is a grandmaster. So I just exit the room and he said, you need to play this instead of this, instead of this. So it was fantastic.
And please have a look. Nana doesn't go for the critical line of the Grunfeld once again. She goes from some sidelines. Like the advantage of playing in this way to choose this move order is that you are not going for the concrete lines immediately from the opening. You avoid the preparation of your opponent. It also gives you the opportunity not to blunder immediately, because when you have to calculate some critical line and your opponent is better prepared, then in blitz it's a tough choice. So Nana is going for double fianchetto. What does it mean? That you put your bishops both on b2, on g2. And now, as you can see, Katerina once again has chosen the principal line. She played e5. The pawn is on prise, but you cannot take it. So knight e5 is met by knight g4.
Yeah. And this looks like a very extremely symmetrical structure. 3 pawn and 4 pawns on the board. And there is just one open file, and this is the D file. So I guess it's very important to try to get control. But as you said, bishop is going to go to g2. Probably we are going to have also a knight to c3. Do you think here white is going to castle or to keep the king in the middle, maybe on e2, for example?
No, white needs to castle on this, because as you can see, black didn't play c6 in this position. So I will very quickly play a knight c6. So what's going on? So what she will do after knight g4? This is very interesting, because like in my files, I can also share some preparation with you. Knight g4, you can show this move. Yes, it is.
Yeah. And after f4, for example?
But then look at this structure. I will exchange. I will take my pawn back. Yes, I'll take on e5. And then maybe even play rook e8, take it back. Yes, bishop e5, rook e8.
Yeah, and this pawn is very weak. And then also the pawn on e2 is not connected to the other pawns.
And sometimes you can be, if I may say, fooled by the computer, evaluation, because computer has so many defensive resources that he can say, well, whatsoever I will play on. But in blitz, and especially in a human opposition, it's very difficult to play those positions. So let's see what.
Yeah, the only thing that I see in this position is that if the knight gets to d5, can start to look a bit weak, because without the bishop, the dark color bishop, there are lots of squares that looks a bit weak.
But I can always play c6. This is the huge advantage of this position, that my c7 pawn has not moved. So what did she play, actually?
Let's see. Let's go to the current. Knight a6 has been played. Just one move.
It's interesting. So she plays for the initiative. She plays knight a6 with the idea of playing knight b4.
Yeah. And actually, it's Nana that is investing lots of time here. She's already under 3 minutes. And she played here the move knight c3. How is she going to face the move knight b4 here?
Actually, knight b4, yes, is a very, easy threat of knight c2. Then rook c1 is forced. But now I understood that Nana wanted to play on knight g4, knight d3, and the bishop would be protected. Okay, so white is a pawn up, but I would say that black's pieces are so active that it compensates this pawn, the lack of the pawn. You see that now bishop g2.
And also after knight c2, the king is forced to go to f1. Do you think it's smart to make white lose a tempo here to avoid that white can castle, do you think?
Yeah, actually, yes, that's what the move I was looking at. I was, while you were asking me a question, I was looking at rook e8, and I was thinking, because you need to put rook e8, rook d8. You need to. On the other hand, Katerina chooses this move knight g4, which we used in another variation, because now that I played f4 once again, your pawns are quite weak. So that would be a very good exchange, knight g4, bishop g4. And also knight d3 coming with check, you know, because the e2 pawn was pinned. Actually, this position once again has changed the character dramatically. So as you
It's
can see,
incredible that at the beginning it seems really a very symmetrical, nearly boring position, and we always get into a complete mess.
so basically we went for the same type of structure as we were analyzing before, but as you can see, white is 2 pawns up in this position, not 1 pawn up. So you have to be really very careful. You have to find, with black pieces, you always have to find a move which puts your opponent under pressure. Don't forget, if I will manage to exchange a few pieces, I will be 2 pawns up in an endgame.
Yeah, and now rook d1 was of course forced because the rook has no other square. But now again, if the knight gets to d5, it start to feel also e4 can be is possible at one point. Short castle. This
something went wrong for black. You see how difficult it is, because these are the types of positions which you like very easily play in classical chess, where you have time, so you develop your initiative. Of course, on the same, like, truth to be told, like, it's also very difficult to play with white because you can blunder at any moment. So you see, it's a very double edge. You need to play for the initiative, but you have in mind that you're 2 pawns down. And you always have this pressure, like, on you. You need to, well, you need to find moves, you need to fight for the initiative, and you also need to look for the pawns. You have to get them back at some point. And here I feel something went terribly wrong for Katerina Lagno. Like, there was a critical point in the game which she missed. I was also calculating it, but now I feel that
f5 is is not giving a pawn. Let's show this on the board.
Bishop e3, yes, and knight c2, yes, of course.
Yeah, it's a beautiful. Let's go back because it's a beautiful mate. Look, bishop e3. The bishop are already nearly giving a checkmate. There is still king to e1, and then the knight is going to c2 and is giving a beautiful checkmate. So f5 was so tricky.
Yes, and as you can see, you have to fight till the very end. So these ideas, you have to spot them immediately, you know. Well, if there is a trick, you have to go for it. But unfortunately, Nana went for knight d5 and knight f6, and she's completely winning right now. So you see, actually, she changed her approach. She didn't go for the classical Grunfeld, and it paid off. She's going to win this game.
Yeah, she has now a very nice position. And also, we started that Nana was already under 3 minutes and Katerina Lagno had a good time advantage. And now the time is again very similar. Do you think she's going for the exchange?
She will take the exchange. And also I wanted to, just to point out this bishop on h3. You know, it's not doing much also, you know, after f5.
Yeah, it's a bit blocked.
So you should go. She's also thinking maybe she can play knight d7 and take the b8 rook. You know, you have 2 possibilities. You can do another fork.
Or maybe take on h7 first, then try to go back.
Take on h7, then I will have king f7. So that's bishop d5. No, bishop d5. You see, rook d7, I still had like rook e7, but bishop d5. No, she went for the rook, yes. Maybe a more practical approach, because she's losing for the moment in the match. So she needs, even like for the boost of confidence, she needs to win this game like in a practical way.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's remind everyone the current score is 3-1 with a 2 victory for Katerina and 2 draws. So it's really important to strike for Nana.
Oh my God, Rook h7, I think wins on the spot. Yes, you will not be able to protect the two bishops. Yes.
Yeah, looks really, really very, very strong. Oh, she's going for Bishop d5.
Oh, she wants it all actually, Nana. She doesn't want the two bishops. She wants to play Rook f7, King g8, Rook c7, and then maybe Rook e7 also to exchange everything to go for a very simple endgame.
Okay, c6 is played. I feel like I would have played probably Rook take h7. I like material. I like to have a good material advantage. But I think everything is pretty good here.
But now Rook f7 and Rook e7 transposes, so that's what happened.
She has an extra rook here.
So Bishop e3 is a threat. Bishop c1, okay, well played. And Bishop c5, she will simply play e3. And once again, look at this Bishop on h3. It's like Black is playing not only an exchange down, but with this Bishop on h3, also another piece down.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. I think this is gonna, I mean, Nana is 8 seconds, but I think here with increment is not in control. I really like this 1 second increment because you're never gonna lose a game on time. Your opponent is never gonna flag you if you're clearly winning. But in some ways, time is still very important because if there is a messy position with just 1 second of increment, it's very hard to find a way to find a good move.
You're absolutely right. It's also sort of an equilibrium, you know, because some players, they play quickly, but sometimes in a superficial manner, so they have more time. Some players try to make the best move in the position, but they're always in the time trouble. And then if there would be more increment, then, you know, it will be easier for them to solve their like time trouble problems. So I agree with you. This 1 second increment doesn't allow you to capitalize on it. So there is always a time trouble.
You know, I know which one is the trick to win every game. You need to play extremely good and extremely fast, and then you win everything.
And look at the board. What happened now? You know, Nana misplayed it completely. She will lose once again. No, I mean, it's a miracle. Actually, what happened is a complete miracle, and Katerina is now playing for a win. How important it is not to lose your fighting spirit. She was trying to fight, to find the defensive ideas, and it actually paid off in the end. Black is completely winning now. Yeah. Actually, how difficult it is to win a game against Katerina Lagno. Now you can see it.
Yeah, it's really absolutely
That's
incredible.
why she won the world championship, with the World Blitz Championship 3 times, and I think she was even close to another title. So
yeah,
she's an amazing player.
It's crazy that she's also able to keep. Okay, now it's just over with 2 pawns. It's impossible. Wow. No, incredible. I mean, this game actually was really so important because now Nana Dzagnidze at such a winning position, and now losing that winning game leads to a score of 4-1, and this is 3 points behind. So it's hard to come back. Nana needs to start winning.
So another choice of opening for Nana, because she went for d6, like she wanted to play the Najdorf, and Ekaterina Lagno has chosen a positional approach, bishop b5, the Rosalima Sicilian, which goes once again for the positions with a lot of maneuvering, and white wants to have a center, so c4 should be met by a4 and b3. Then, you know, you need to break this pawn chain. But pay attention that now the e4 pawn is hanging, and you don't have this d3 move, which you have in other variations to protect it, because d3 will be met by c d3, and I will take on e4.
But exactly how it went? Maybe because b5 was hanging as well.
No, yes, of course, you need to take on a4, but now
Now queen take is
E4.
protecting the pawn on e4.
So queen c7, but this line is actually considered to be very dangerous for black. And
How is white going to approach here? Is it dangerous because the a6 pawn might be always a target, or maybe the knight can go to c4?
But on the other hand, for the moment, you see this queen a4, bishop d3 is looking quite active. But when I will be able to castle, then the threat of knight c5 will become very dangerous. So you will have to replace your pieces to find more harmonious squares for the pieces.
Yeah, and if like b4 is played in order to avoid, then the c3 pawn might be weak.
And b4 is in a way like here would be a move like in nowhere, because you really weaken your c3 pawn, and you don't achieve anything. So I really like e5, bishop, like then bishop b7. So I will castle. But still, you see, you were right. It's like before, this probably was very important to keep the knight from the c5 square.
Yeah. And c4, okay, so the pawn are controlling lots of square on the 5th rank. So all the square in front of the pawn are controlled. But now we will see, will white be able to support those pawns, or will they be a target for?
And please have a look, a5, a very interesting positional sacrifice. Nana fights for the c5 square. She gives the pawn, but she still wants to play knight c5, then she will take the bishop, and the c4 pawn will become weak. I like this move very much. So what to do here with white?
Yeah, and she took the pawn, so she's accepting the sacrifice. Now we are gonna see exactly what Almira said, knight c5, black is going to take this bishop, and then the c4 pawn is gonna be very weak. I don't think it's going to take immediately. I think black has no pressure to take. Oh, well, e4.
Yes, she could take on e4. That's what I wanted to say, that you couldn't protect both pawns in a nice way. So now Nana, I think that when Nana has a possibility to play f5, she will play it, So you can see that even here she will have the possibility to push f5. So let's see if she will do this.
Yeah.
So
which color would you pick here?
Oh, black, of course. Like, even though I play this position with white, I play this opening, I know this opening very well, but I will never go for this line. I go for another line, which is rather quiet. Bishop a4 is also a very recent move in development in the theory. So I would go to bishop f1, c4, d4 line. I want to build the center. This line actually gives you the opportunity to build the center. And Nana is still thinking. Okay, critical moment, in the previous games, we've seen that Nana
was taking lots of time.
Yes, was taking a lot of times, and then her decisions were not optimal. So here knight c3 is a very nice move. I exchanged this pair of knights, and on the same way I protect the a5 pawn. Nana wanted to get it back.
Yeah. Now white is placing the rook on the b file. Mostly in the end game, in order to keep pushing, you need to create a pass pawn. What do you think should be here? It seems very hard for black to create a pass pawn. What do you think should be the strategy, the approach for black?
The strategies here, somehow, even if black is the pawn down, I feel that this knight is so much better than the bishop on f1. So even if you're a pawn down, this difference in the activity of your pieces could be crucial. One idea that I have to improve this bishop is to play g3 and bishop g2, even to give the a5 pawn, but then so bishop g2 and bishop d5, that would be for me an optimal improvement. because
So clearly the bishop on d5 would be completely another bishop, like a newborn bishop, supported by the pawn on c4, targeting f7, b7. So it would be a dream.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And that's what I have this feeling, from so many games, how actually players, they take their decisions because they've already seen so many patterns, so many games. So I have this feeling, the intuition, which says to me that in the long run, white is, white will probably fight for a draw.
Mm-hmm.
Even
It's
though
curious, then I think for the first time in the match, Katerina Lagno has less time than Nana.
actually, since okay, yes, now I have, because sometimes I simply do not see the time. It's like I'm half blind during the stream, so now I can see, yes.
Yeah, Nana has 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Katerina Lagno 1 minute 40 seconds.
And okay, Nana is a pawn up now, and she has a better knight.
Yeah, now it's incredible how the
you see, she goes for g3, but here I feel that she lost some precious tempi.
Yeah. Also, the fact that the pawn on the two rook on the a file, when they were looking at the pawn on a5, they were a bit passive. They were not really active. Now that the pawn is gone, they can join the game, and then they can start to to do other threat. Still, now black has to keep control of the pawn on d6. But let's see how black will. Do you think to bring the king to e7 can be an option, or is too weak the king there?
Unfortunately, if you wouldn't have the rooks, then it could be an option. But then even like king f8, king e7 could be easily met by queen d2 with this queen g5 check, and you cannot play f6. Then if you wouldn't have the rooks on the board, that's what I actually was asking myself. Should you keep the rooks? Should you exchange 2 rooks? And that's why I wanted to exchange everything on the a5 and to transfer the bishop immediately. It would be probably easier to defend. But I might be mistaken as well, because those decisions are very difficult to make, very tough to make. You need
and
to
what is the difference without a rook? Can you place then the king on e7?
Yes, you can play the king on e7, but on the other hand, like my bishop would be placed on d5. It could all be exchanged, and actually it could be always like the position which I can see is a queen's endgame with the pawn up, which probably is a draw. So if all the pieces are exchanged, it will be much easier to defend this queen's endgame. So also when you exchange the rooks, you don't have this idea of losing your queen. If you play king e7, at some point I will play rook a7, and all this idea, attacking ideas.
All right, I like how black activated these pieces. Now both rook and queen are pointing at f2.
Yeah.
And so, okay, queen f3 was needed. But what after, is knight e4 a possibility?
Yes, it is a very nice move, knight e4, because you cannot take it, because I will simply take on f2. I really like this move, knight e4. You are absolutely right. This is probably finishes the game immediately. So Nana will be able to win finally her first game, because here unless another miracle, I do not see a defense. So
yeah, this looks really, f2 looks like falling. So let's see if Katerina is finding another incredible resource here.
You see, that's the answer to your question, why you need to exchange both rooks, because this wouldn't be possible simply. You cannot attack the f2 pawn 3 times.
That's
true. See how we come to these conclusions, but later in the game.
The game is answering the question. Now g3 is also another weak pawn.
Well, this position is really hopeless. Yes, knight g4. I can simply push f5, e4.
Okay, now c5 could be an idea to push the pawn on c5.
Yes, but now king e7.
Yeah,
And
beautiful.
king e6, of course. That was a very nice king's march. So king f6, king e7, king e6. But kudos to both players. You know, they like Katerina even here manages to find some ideas. You know, c5, I can still go for c6, but here after king e7, it is no longer possible.
Yeah. Now the pawn got exchanged, and your black is, oh no, black is up 2 pawns, but now lost a pawn. Oh my god, this is not possible. What is happening to Nana? Now she's losing another pawn, the pawn on g6. Oh no, 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 no.
It seems that when she's down to a few seconds, she loses control, and Katerina is her nerves is like made of steel. I don't know how she does it. So that's a goal once again. I cannot believe she saved this. Really, this is absolutely incredible.
You know, every time you say this now is absolutely hopeless, I don't think in another miracle, and again, surprise.
As you can see, like I told you, whenever you want to be an oracle, like I'm always wrong. So.
Yeah. Well, up to now, your prediction to Katerina was right. So
at least something. At least I got something right. Yes.
Okay. Next time you say this is now completely winning, I say chess is always in chess. There is always a chance. There is always a possibility. Chess is a game where it's never over until it's really over.
So, and in your experience, since you've watched a lot of these matches and you played them yourself, we go exactly for the same position as in the previous game. Will she go for 95, 96? Okay. Katerina was actually very confident, I think, with her opening preparation. That's why she goes. But so in your experience, how many games they will play overall? I mean, in this portion, 5+1.
Okay, I think this will be the last game. There are 4 minutes to go. And so this will be the last game probably.
Okay, now I see, because like these numbers are so small, so I have to I have to bring some alert, you know. Yes, this is going to be their last game.
Yeah, probably, unless there is an extremely quick checkmate, but I don't think it will be the case. I expect a fighting game, so the time will run to 0, and so then the players just need to finish their game. And I think the number game is always around 8, 9 per section, because the time is reducing, but also the countdown will be less. So it's always around 7 to 9 games always.
Okay, and they repeat exactly this. They're like, that's the same move order as from the previous game. So maybe here Katerina will improve. So after bishop f3, I think that was the critical moment I was talking about the game. And as I remember, she took on e5 here. So maybe she has to find another choice, like after bishop b5, you see, knight e5, and she didn't go for this in the previous game.
Yeah. The pawn on e5 is gone. So here after, it's clear that Katerina could not go for a preparation. So she thought in her mind this improvement, and this is how why grandmaster are so strong, because even without analyzing with an engine, they realize where they did something wrong and they are able to improve themselves.
It's very open. It's actually very important to open these files and look, Alicia, there is this threat, knight d3 now. You have to do something about this. Knight d3, beautiful. You take, and then bishop c3 with check, bishop b2. So actually that's why Katerina went for this line. She's a pawn down, but her pieces are so active, and you have maybe this knight c2, bishop d4, knight e3, a lot of checks. So that's why it was very important to open all the lines for the rooks and the diagonals for the bishops.
Yeah.
So that's why Nana is actually thinking, because there are a lot of tactical threats in this position.
Yeah, definitely. And what do you think could be a move? King f2 could be a move? And then after bishop d4, even going to g2?
But maybe after king f2, I will play bishop h3 here. Where do you go then?
Yeah, good question.
And you cannot play knight d5 because your bishop on b2 is hanging as well. So you have to be very careful.
Yeah, and if the king is going to f1 in order to reply to bishop h3 with bishop g2.
And then I was thinking, is there a threat after king f1, knight takes a2? You know, I simply go for this side, knight takes a2, knight takes a2. Maybe we can show it quickly. Nana still thinking like king f1. Maybe I can play knight a2 here. No, I don't play bishop h3. This, you know, and then I'll take on a b2, take on b3. You know, this is very dangerous.
Yeah, incredible that in one single position there are so many threats. Because let's say in this position, let's say that black can move. So one idea can be knight take a2. Then one idea can be knight to d3. And it's not so easy to deal with all them. It's actually impossible. Okay, we have a move, and the move played was g4. Wow.
Yes, because this is a really critical moment. First of all, she's dealing with this bishop h3 threat. Let's see what happens on knight d3, our first suggestion. Maybe it loses on the spot, knight d3. Or she wants, I cannot, knight d3. Let's see.
Yeah, knight d3, the difference is that the bishop on f5 will be hanging.
Yes, but you're still, you take, I will take on c3 with check. Then king d1, I will take on b2, your rook is hanging, then I can take on d3. It seems winning as well. Maybe you are not losing on the spot, but probably this is the continuation you should go for.
Yeah, maybe she will play with an exchange down, but it should be an exchange for one pawn.
I will not take the exchange. Maybe I will go for the most positional. How do like let's put knight d3 on the board so we can see it how difficult it is. So what do you do here? It's because your bishop is hanging, you are forced to take.
Yeah. So
bishop
I
take. On b2, yes, and bishop c3 check. So what do you do here?
Maybe I can do king f2.
But then bishop b2 wins probably immediately. So then because I have bishop d4, this without exchange, it's probably...
Yeah, I want to take the bishop on f5 then.
But I no longer give the evaluation of the position as hopeless. Let's say slightly better for black.
But this time it's Katerina, you know. Okay, we have moves on the board, and it's exactly what we were telling. Exactly, she took the bishop on f5, and now is Nana that is fighting with an exchange down. Yeah, exactly what we were looking at.
So it means that we are doing a good job, yes, in a way. Kudos to us, but once again, Nana has found actually a very nice idea in order to hold this position. Yes, this bishop on e4 protects 2 pawns, but rook e5 was a very good move. Now I want to take on f5 and on g3. There is absolutely nothing you can do. Maybe king f3, take on f5, king f4. Something like this, yes, I don't know. Practical chance, yes. And then king f4. Just bring the king.
Yeah.
Just some practical chance, you never know. Then take on f5.
So we have rook g3.
She wants to play rook g5, maybe if I take on f5, but it seems to be... And also protect the d3 pawn, so she wouldn't lose immediately both of the pawns.
Yeah.
But still.
I liked more your idea, king f3, king f4, because is not losing, is activating the king, using also the king. It's putting pressure on black.
It's also sometimes unusual, you know. Somehow black feels that they're winning on the spot, but then you have this king's march, then like one mistake, another mistake, as we have seen in the previous game. So like anything can happen. So king is 7, she brings her king closer.
Is the king going to e3?
Actually, I like this king e3. Probably black wants to play c5 here. And then I was thinking about the move b4.
Beautiful.
Yes. b4 here, so you can no longer take. You try to create maybe some pass pawn, then by b5, a4, a5, b6. I don't know. Anything can happen, as you said.
Let's see. I'm pretty confident that b4 is gonna happen now. Also because I don't really see other idea for white. I don't think king f4 is really. Maybe king f4 can also be an idea.
But b4 maybe could be met. We have to calculate b4, g takes f5. Probably you have to take on f5. And then rook takes, bishop takes. You still cannot take on b4, and rook h4. Black is still winning by big margin, but
okay, but after b4, pawn take on f5.
Yes, that's what I wanted to calculate. These lines are very forced. So b4 is a very forced move. So g takes f5 is a very forced move. This is how you should play.
Yeah.
So you are forced to take with the rook because b takes c5. No, wait. B takes c5. Can you play b takes c5?
And take then there is f take e4,
yes.
I think.
Look, this variation.
And then the pawn is going to promote. This is crazy,
this nice variation. Yes, this
and
f2.
boom.
This is a very nice variation. So that's why she cannot do this. So you need to.
Okay, let's see, because they are playing, they are going on. Okay, f6 is the move played here. Okay, and maybe after king d7. Oh, h4. a5, rook f4.
She didn't want to play before there. Okay, but here I feel yes, she lost another pawn.
Yeah, now it's after f5 is really over, I think. Well, it's never over until it's over, but now is Katerina Lagno with the winning position, and she also had an amazing time advantage. She has 1 minute on the clock that allows her to take always few seconds to think about a good move. And here I think too many pawns are falling. Now b3 is falling, so this should be just over. And we have a resignation.
Yes, and for the first time I had a look at Katerina's face during the match. She's staying focused to the red. She has this like optimal concentration. Unbelievable, really.
Yeah.
She's completely winning, but still she is waiting, for the end.
Yeah, she's really incredible, cold-blood player. All right, so this fourth part is over. We are gonna come back soon with the 3+1. We are gonna see if the players are going to change their attitude. 3+1 is coming back in a few minutes. Oh la la, we are back. And here you see, guys, the pairing of this quarterfinals. Today we have just the first one of the quarterfinals, Katerina Lagno against Nana Dzagnidze. But as you see in the next days, tomorrow we have two quarterfinals, Uifan against Bibi Sara, Arika against Anna Muzichuk. So stay tuned. And also, of course, on Monday we have the last quarterfinal between Lei Tingli and Antonetta Stefanova. I already say sorry for mispronouncing some names, but it's not easy.
How about my name, Alicia?
Almira Stripchenko, I would say.
Yes, you see how easy.
Easy. And mine? And mine, Almira? How do you pronounce?
It's easy, Alessia Santeramo.
You see, the accent is wrong.
No?
It's Santeramo.
Santeramo, okay.
But it's a common, I mean, also in Italians are pronouncing it with accent on another, so don't worry.
But it's the same for Skripchenko, you know, it's somehow Skripchenko.
Oh.
So it's
Oh, you see? It's also there. All right, the game has started. So here we have 3+1, so the time is shorter, and we see the same opening. Yeah.
So she will go for bishop b6 once again, and bishop f6 is one of the most principled continuations here.
Yes, but in this line, I gotta say, Nana seemed really to be always confident. But here something changed. The knight goes to b6.
Yes, that's why. So she took on f6, then knight d5, and knight b6. It's another positional idea here to castle actually quickly. And you see, Katerina prepared this line, I think, during the break, something, a little bit. I think that she had a look at the games, and she wants probably, well, first king b1, and then to launch attack. Yes, h4, h5.
Yeah.
Let's show this on the board that this will happen.
Yeah. And I think that the bishop we always had a bishop on h6 in the previous game, that it was so annoying because white was never able to castle. And so Katerina took measure, and she's now already castled. The king is safe on b1, and she will go for this h4, h5. How to deal now with f5?
Well, actually now f5 could be met with f3. That's exactly what I was trying to calculate, but I was also looking for the ways for black to activate this bishop on g7. It's very important to find some idea. On the other hand, I could also play knight e7 and sacrifice the pawn, but this should, well, after f5 it's less effective. I wanted to sacrifice it before with the pawn on f7, and could give black actually very nice counterplay. But let's see, f5, should we take the difference of with this variation is this knight on b6 is actually for the moment blocking everything.
So black cannot push pawn, cannot play b5, maybe in some cases knight a4, knight c4.
Also not so easy for black to connect the rooks, you know, you're lacking squares. So f takes e4, f takes e4 is a normal continuation, and then queen h4. The pawn on e4 is hanging, so queen d3. And actually...
But it's also true that this knight on b6 is very far away from the king side. So it's not, white doesn't have many pieces to attack the king right now.
Yes, but maybe now white has to switch to a more positional plan, since black played the f5, f takes c4. Now my idea is to exchange once again these light square bishops. You know, if I will be able to play something like knight e3 here, is it possible? G3,
okay, g3 in order to protect the pawn on g2.
And maybe knight e3 here, because I really like somehow
yeah, also after knight e3, it's true that right now the pawn on h2 is hanging, but let's say also the pawn on d6 is a big problem for
Yeah, well, Katerina has chosen knight c7 with the same idea. She wants to force actually this exchange because now the bishop is hanging. So knight attacks the bishop on e6, and but you see, and very rightfully, Nana doesn't want. She plays bishop g4. She needs to keep this bishop on the board. And what to do here? Can we take on d2?
Or maybe rook f8?
Rook f8 as well. Yeah, both possibilities are very interesting. Yes. And because I wanted to take on d2, play bishop f3 and bishop e4, but maybe then rook e1, probably, yes. So still defense.
Yeah.
So there is no, yes, no direct way to win the pawn. Let's see what Nana played. Maybe rook f8 is a very nice move, and then, and that was played. Queen d6, a very concrete line.
And it's incredible that here the time travel just comes a little bit earlier. And Nana is already with 17 seconds and she has to fight in this position. That
but
is
if I play rook f1 here with the threat rook f8, you know, I don't want to exchange rook f1 with the threat rook f8. What to do? She didn't do. Okay, rook h2.
White is playing slowly here. I think White has the more active pieces, the more active position.
Well, in this position, I think the most important factor is the safety of the king. And please have a look at this black's king, you know, has no squares. So I think
I really like 96.
Yes.
That is targeting the bishop on g7. It is a piece that is still protecting the king. Oh, the queen is hanging!
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! What happened? She blundered the queen.
Wow!
This is...
In Italian, we call it baulata right now.
Oh
it's a technical terms to describe the queen's gun.
Oh, you even have a technical term, you know, for describing this kind of situation. This is really...
Yes, it's a very technical term.
Incredible. Well, I was familiar with some like football terms, you know, like catenaccio, you know, and things like this.
Exactly.
But
do you know what the Botets gambit is?
I know.
That's exactly what we saw. You give away your queen and nice gift for your opponent. It's the other technical term, the international technical term. Okay, yes. This game just finished.
But this was such a dramatic blunder, you know. I'm shivering myself, and I'm not even playing this game. So, oh my god, you know, here like Katerina has to calm down. I think this after such a game, you really need to calm down and just say, okay, that was one game, one blunder. Nothing really happened. We start a new tournament once again.
Yeah.
So now Nana actually goes for the Greenfield types of the position, but she, well, with bishop on g2.
Yeah, it's Nana is a bit avoiding the main lines, probably because she knows that Katerina Lagno is really an expert in this line with black, so she prefers to go for sidelines and to try to play a bit a calmer position.
Yes, that's what I wanted to tell, that knight c6 was like a theoretical line, which leads to a more or less equal position. So I'm really curious to see what Nana has in mind here.
Yeah, let's remind everyone that Nana needs absolutely to start to score because she's 3 points behind. Look, the current score is 5.5 to 2.5. So she needs to come back to start to score. There are still 37 minutes in this 3+1 section.
Bishop a3. It's a nice move. Let's just show. So white threatened probably to take on d8, take on e7, then on c6. And Nana doesn't want to take on c6 immediately. So Katerina took on c3, rook c1. Actually, Nana plays for the initiative in this game.
Yeah, I like this approach. Okay, bishop f7 is strong move because he's protecting the pawn on e7. So the idea of taking on c6 and maybe on d8 and then on e7 is not working because the pawn is protected. Will Nana take back the pawn on c6? Yes, with the bishop.
But once again, from what I know, like I do not play this position with both colors, but from the games I've seen, you know, well, it leads to a very balanced play. So bishop h3 is the typical reaction actually for black when you take on c6. So that if you take on a8, then I simply take queen a8. So I threaten the mate on g2, and your rook is also hanging. Let's show this.
Beautiful, beautiful. So
And
threatening
then,
mate and the rook is hanging. Yeah, it's a very nice way to resolve all the problem, I feel, because now white will not take. Oh, actually, it happened. It went exactly in this way.
So they went. Another idea that I wanted to show is that in this line, that if you take on d8, then I simply take with other rook, and my rook is not hanging anymore. So that's how here, yes, rook a d8. You see?
Yeah, so it's a way a bit to simplify the position and to solve problem, because in this kind of position, black was still a bit behind. Still the bishop was at home, the rook is under attack. So this, I really like this move. It's very, very powerful.
Yes, but I think our viewers should remember this idea. It's very thematical and it solves a lot of your problems immediately. So you simply are not afraid, you don't react, you attack the other rook.
Beautiful move, beautiful idea.
So, well, as you can see, the position is equal, as I predicted. I hope that I'm not wrong here.
I always like to take a look at position plus time situation. And here the time looks also very balanced. So both players were more than 1 minute, and this position is easier to play than other messy position that we had before. So let's see. Is there some weak point? Okay, the pawn on e7 is a bit weak, but I don't think should be a problem. Maybe white can is the one that is having a bit more initiative, because he's attacking the pawn on e7. The pieces are more active, but this is something very little.
But on the other hand, I always have this feeling that when white played f3, it is always possible to sacrifice a few pawns, but then activate your bishop and then somehow invade the first rank, you know. So this f3 pawn is actually like a small, how do you say this? No, I forgot the English word, so I will have to
You can say it in French.
Well, I actually have it in Russian somehow, you know. I'm entering this schizophrenic state, you know, where I no longer know like who I am anymore. So but anyway, you see this diagonal like g1 a7, and especially with the dark square bishops is weakened. So if you will activate your bishop somehow in your queen, this could be really very dangerous potentially, like for white. So Nana is actually trying to put her pieces like in a more active position and to wait for Katerina's move. You know, you cannot move. Rook d8, I will take on e7. Rook c8, you don't have. Rook b8, I will also probably take on e7. So she's trying to improve her position and wait. So h4, I like this. But g4.
h3, this is a double hedge point, because that one could be suddenly hanging, but also is giving you, now that f4 is played, is giving you a beautiful, is supporting maybe a piece like a queen on g2. So, attention.
Here I feel that Nana is playing with fire, although she needs to win, as you have said, but this is very dangerous what she's doing.
But she needs to win, but more than that, she needs not to lose. Because if not, the margin is, I mean, even if she makes a draw here, still 3 points are possible to recover. But if not, gets really hard. Okay, now she took, black took on h2, white took on e6, g6 is a problem. This looks really very hard. The king is just going to,
like, but no, but you still have, you know, probably.
No, it was at least a draw.
No,
Nana, no.
Why she resigned? But there was like
the time out.
the time. She lost on time?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah, she
God.
could just take on g6,
Yes,
give a
just
bit of checks. Time.
incredible. Okay, yes, the time is the key factor here. So this is one of the openings that I also know a little bit. White plays bishop b5 check first to provoke bishop d7, because bishop d7 is not the optimal square, and then bishop c4, and with the idea of castling and playing f5 very quickly. Knight c6 wanted to play knight a5 and to take the bishops. That's why a4. And now knight f6 probably should be played with black. And yes, this is the normal continuation. But then also castle d3. And this, what do you call this? The Grand Prix attack, I think. It's a very interesting opening because, well, once again, yes, Nana is thinking, because she, you know, naturally you're afraid to put your knight on f6. You think, what about e5? What is happening there?
Yeah.
I can attack your knight immediately, knight f6, e5, but then I will take.
One idea could also be maybe e6 and knight to
exactly
to e7.
But e6, I'm calculating what? d3, knight e7, castle, and then I will play f5. I will sacrifice this. That's the idea behind this opening.
Yeah.
If you castle, I will play f5.
Yeah, and this is exactly how the game is going. So now we expect castle from both sides. The king are ready to go into a safe place. Let's see. So
castle, if Nana castled, I think the theoretical move here is to play f5. You sacrifice the pawn. She chooses another plan, queen e1, then
maybe to prepare your idea of f5.
No, queen e1 is actually another idea. You want to bring your queen to h4 and to play knight g5. That's why knight d4 was essential, to exchange this knights. But once again, I think that black played very well. Nana played very well. d5 is a very nice move. You no longer have an attack with white. And your knight on e2 is not optimal. You need to play king h1, knight g1, knight f3.
Yeah. No, Nana is always playing very, very good games, very good moves. And then the time trouble is a problem. I don't know if she has pre-moves enabled.
I'm not sure, but it's also, as I told you at the beginning of the match, like there are two players with two different styles. And I have this feeling when you are such a creative player as Nana, you know, because Katerina has more practical approach, you will always lose like a few important seconds now and like here and there. And that's what makes the difference.
Yeah.
So
f6. Okay, now white is blocking that bishop out of the game. I don't know if the bishop will go on h6 or on h8. If the bishop is going to knight to g4 attacking the queen. Is the pawn on f6 falling? Not because the rook is
a very nice move. So now rook f6 and queen d. But you have on queen d8 bishop g5. What's happening there? No, she couldn't take it back. Maybe she missed this idea.
Yeah, but now white is having just two pieces for a rook, which is a good advantage, especially now that the dark square bishop is missing, which is an important bishop because all the squares are weak. Imagine a knight on h3 would be mate already.
On h6, yes, it's
on h6.
It would be very nice. What do you call this chess in English when you play with two boards?
The
back house, yes. So you can drop your knight on h6, you know, as in shogi, Japanese chess as well. I think that the back house was created from the model of the Japanese shogi. And then actually when you take the piece of your opponent, it becomes yours. So you can parachute it. So it will be a very nice parachute, yes, with the knight on h6.
Okay, now sadly the rook moved from f8, so will not be a mate anymore. But then you just need to put a pawn on g7 and it is a beautiful mate.
b3, yes, I had to be played because bishop c4, dc4, maybe e4, then, but
Okay, now e5 is hanging.
Yes, e5 is hanging and there is no easy way to protect it. Well, what can I say? There was bishop b5, rook e8, so she couldn't
But
play.
if bishop e5 now? Wait, because then there if knight f6, I was thinking bishop f5 and then, but then there is king g7.
King f6, yes, exactly.
So again, your Katerina Lagno is putting pressure and she has two pieces for a rook. And what is the pawn situation? 5 against 6. Okay.
Well, actually, here it doesn't matter. That's what I wanted to say, that white needs to play g5 to fix this pawn structure, and then white is completely winning. Once again.
Yeah. Because it feels like white is actually a pawn up, because the pawn on c5 is passed. Instead, black is not having any passed pawn that can be used.
And the biggest problem here, what I feel, is that it's very difficult for black to create any sort of counterplay. You know, how do you activate your rook? You need to play b4, b3. So you see, that's why Nana resigned.
And another timeout.
A timeout even. Okay.
Yeah. And this time control is really hard. But we have an important change of situation. Now we have e4, e5, a classical the gioco piano, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, we go for whoa. We go for
the most important
here.
situation is that Nana played e4. It's because Katerina Lagno has e5 in her main repertoire. So what changed is that Nana stopped playing these positional openings. She goes for the kill immediately. This is to the theoretical line. We will see if Nana has some opening novelty here. And well, Katerina is thinking, she's trying to remember, because she has to castle, and then black plays f5.
Yeah.
But this is a very impressive score for Katerina Lagno. You know, when I said that she was a slight favorite, I didn't expect like 7.5 and 2.5.
Yeah, I mean, all the games, I feel like Nana really threw out of the window lots of points here, and because the score could have been for a very small, with very small improvement by Nana's playing, much different.
So in this time format, we don't have breaks, so you just have to keep on playing. You don't have this 2 minutes for a break, just to keep your composure, regain your composure after a loss. And it's very strange, but Katerina was thinking for a very long time for a blitz game, so she goes for bishop f5 actually here.
Yeah. Bishop f5. Now white needs to take care of some potential discovery check with the knight going away. Maybe knight g3 could be a threat now.
Knight g3 is actually a very interesting threat. So the rook on h1 is hanging. So
maybe bishop d3 we are gonna see.
But then knight b4. You see bishop d3, knight b4, and you're in real trouble.
Okay, queen a4 looks better this.
Yes, let's show the simple bishop d3 runs into knight b4, and I think that black is almost winning.
Yeah.
So you see, you should be careful.
Yeah.
So queen a4, that's why actually queen a4. Knight e7. Well, I feel that the typical reaction would be to play f6 here, c6 and f6. But maybe Katerina has something else in mind.
f6 exactly on the board.
Okay. Because this is actually, yes, it's not something that I really prepared. I know the ideas in this opening, so f6 is a typical reaction once again.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
white
fine.
has this strong center, d4, c4, and as also it's also typical in some close French line that there are two ways to attack this, either with c5 or with f6, and here f6 is what Katerina Lagno played.
Be careful now. Knight e4 is threatening, and because the pawn is pinned, yes, Katerina was forced to play bishop e5. Yes. F4, she solidifies the center. But this is sort of an optical illusion. White now has like this passed pawn on e5, but once again, the game is probably balanced. You should keep your eye on the e5 pawn, because if your queen goes away, then I can take it. Let's say if here, for example, you play queen d1, just quickly we'll show it on the board. I can take knight e5. You see?
You want queen d1 here?
Yeah, just we show the idea.
Yes.
Yes, because here e4, and so we see how like I can take on e5, knight e5. And the bishop is hanging, yes.
Yes.
That's why you cannot do this, and Nana played a4.
And we have also rook e8, a5, and bishop to d8.
Well, what does Nana want with this a5? Does she want to provoke a6, b6, and then rook c1? Or
rook f2.
But somehow it feels a bit inconsistent. She plays a4, a5, and then rook f2. You don't really want to double on the file here, because I will simply play bishop h3. So what is the idea behind this?
Yeah, it doesn't seem easy to find a way to go on for white. I don't know if maybe queen c3 and then b4, trying to go for b5 could be an idea.
You see what happened, rook f1, bishop h3, what I predicted, and then simply, well, both rooks are traded, and very important maneuver that your knight will go to e6, and potentially your d4 pawn will become a weakness, and you will not be able to exploit, the strengths of your passed pawn. That's exactly what's happening in the game. So what you have to watch out. Knight f3 protects on d4 and bishop d8.
Yeah, and the time is getting very little again.
Nana has only 17 seconds. This is amazing.
Yeah, it will be even crazier in the 1+1 section because we get to, okay, every moves will be done much faster, but let's see.
I have to admit that I think that I've never played Bullet in my life, so it will be really very interesting for me to watch, because I have this classical education, so I feel that, I need some time to think.
Almira,
yes,
we want to see you playing Bullet.
Maybe one day.
We want to see. Every time you want to play Bullet, you're always invited to my channel. We can have a lot of fun with Bullet.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. I will have to prepare something, otherwise. But let's have a look at this game. Nana very rightfully exchanged this knight, e6 and d4. But you see, my king goes to e6, and I was not sure about this exchange on d6, but she managed to bring the king closer to take on g7, and well, black still can take on a5. I don't know, Katerina wanted to keep the bishop there and to take on b2.
Yeah, now the pawn on d5 is running, and white has to sacrifice a bishop right now, but it feels that black is collecting just so many pawns, and even the pawn g and h are very well stopped by the bishop. Instead, the a pawn is just, oh, so strong.
Yes, black is much faster.
Wow. Wow. No, it's impressive. It's impressive how Katerina Lagno is collecting 1 point after each other. The current score is 8.5 to 2.5. So incredible.
Yes, and let's remind our viewers that we have 3 times world blitz champion playing against the world blitz champion, you know, so Katerina Lagno is playing against Nana Dzagnidze. Those players are simply the best in the world in this format. So to have this margin, like 6 points margin so far is very impressive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, the French defense, yes, this is this variation is also very interesting because white temporarily sacrificed this pawn on d4. Knight f3 should be played, yes, and then I don't even take it somehow. Sometimes I'll play bishop d3, castle, and create an attack. I will probably go for the bishop on c7. Depends that's exactly what happens. So it depends on Katerina's preparation. You can take on c7, play b4, because taking on d4 is not really optimal in this position.
Yeah. It looked like a very easy position for white. The bishops are ready, and there is no hurry to take the pawn back on d4.
Well, I think castle or knight c7, so castle first. But Katerina is waiting for a6, and then she will take on c7. That's why. And Nana doesn't want to play a6. She wants to be a tempo. Yes, exactly. You see what happened. So a6, knight c7, queen c7, queen e1. Once again,
and when do you expect black to castle?
Well, it's very difficult here for black to castle long, because then I will play b4, a4 immediately. Actually comes even faster than if you will castle short. So
this seems hard to, seems dangerous to cast both sides. Actually, the center looks even safer. But
knight f5 is a very, very nice positional idea. So let's see what will happen. Bishop f5, if like we'll show, my idea is based on this. If I will take bishop f5, then I will take e5, e takes f5.
Yeah.
Let's just show it, because now we have the possibility. We could show
queen f2. Okay, let's
instead
go back
of yes. The black's idea is exactly, if you take on f5, it seems like your structure is getting worse, but e takes n5, and then I will put my bishop on e6. And this is like a very typical idea in French. You keep both pawns and you're fine.
Yeah.
That's why Katerina played queen f2. So queen b6, protecting once again, overprotecting the d4 pawn, because I feel that Katerina had in mind g4 and knight d4.
Yeah, g4 and knight d4.
Knight d4, that's why queen b6. And also knight e3, with the idea of knight e3. So rook e1 protects from this idea.
Yeah, knight e3 was very, very powerful.
h6, very interesting. So Nana probably wants, well, you see, Nana waits with the castle as well. You were right, you know, Alessia. It's very important to know where to castle, but you need to wait.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if I play g4, maybe knight e3, and then castle long. I don't know, c3. Oh, very nice move.
And it's important to wait to castle, because once black is taking the decision, cannot go back, and is giving for white a clear idea, clear plan where to start to push the pawns.
Yes, you're absolutely right. So now c3 we couldn't take because the queen was hanging. Yes, on b6, very important moment.
Yeah, of course. We are not going to see again always the queen blunder.
And I also wanted to show, Alessia, that on queen b2, black was losing the queen after rook b1, also very important. Yes.
After?
Queen b2, instead here, like
yeah.
Rook c8,
instead of rook c8.
Yes, queen b2, rook b1, you were losing the other rook.
Yeah, the other rook.
You were losing the queen, simply. So both moves were not possible. That's why rook c8. But now you can only castle shorts. That's why Katerina plays g4 here immediately and takes on d4.
Yes, c4, rook c8 is a move like saying, okay, I rather castle short, or I stay with my king in the center. So g4 and try to play f5 looks very logical for white.
Okay, bishop b5, a very important strategical idea for black here. You need to exchange these light square bishops in order to make the attack less strong. And actually, I don't like this bishop b5. I wanted to keep this bishop.
So maybe bishop back on b1, something similar?
No, c2. I wanted to play bishop c2, but I don't know why Katerina didn't play. You know, the play is getting so much faster, so you make the moves, you know, almost instantly. But I really wanted to keep this bishop.
Yeah.
And push.
Yeah, because also the light square bishop is always a problem for black, because it's always passive behind all the pawns and it's not really doing much. Okay, but the game is evolving and it's going pretty fast here. White won an exchange. But there might be some compensation. Those knights are very active, attacking the pawn on d4. Also, b2 might be weak. And the white king is a bit exposed.
You're absolutely right, Alicia. And you remember before the start of the match, I said that Nana likes to sacrifice the exchange.
Yeah.
And she immediately sees this opportunity. She will bring her knight to e6. And well, will not be easy to convert. I agree with you. I don't even know who is better in this position. Maybe white is still a bit better because she managed to win the d5 pawn now. So, but I don't know. Black's king is safe. The knights are always tricky. I still have this nightmare from when I was a kid, when I had the queen and then I lost it to a knight, to a lone knight. So very tricky. Yeah,
and what is tricky is that here all the black pieces are really very active. And the rook on c2. Oh, is losing the pawn on b2. Now pawns get the rook queen got exchanged. Now these pawns are a bit aggressive.
Yes, once again, you really need the queens on the board when you're looking for some dynamic play. Yes, and Ekaterina Lagno wins once again.
And again. Yeah, it's very hard to deal with 1 second of increment, because you feel like you have the increment, but actually it's so few. There are some moments where you need to absolutely to pre-move in order to gain that seconds that is helping you, and even in that moment you are not safe at all. So absolutely hard.
And when the match is going this way, you start to lose confidence. I know it myself personally. Like, you don't know like what opening to play anymore. Should I play e4, c4, d4? Like, anything I try, it doesn't work. Nana switches once again to the Grunfeld with the bishop on g2. And actually what surprises me that Katerina goes for these active lines once again, because she could have chosen the symmetrical Grunfeld with c4, c6. It's a very calm, quiet line, very easy to play for black, but she still goes for the dynamic play, even though she's leading with like 9.5 to 2.5.
Yeah, but probably she doesn't think she's the one that needs to change approach, because she's doing very well in these lines, and so she says, okay, let's see what Nan is doing, because she can just keep doing as she did right now, and she's on fire.
So let's have a look. You have this very impressive knights, knight f3, knight e3. But once again, this knight on e3 is blocking your bishop on c1. That's exactly why Nana played b3. She needs to do something with her bishop. She needs to put it on b2. But on the other hand, look at this bishop on g7. Now it is looking good. Knight g4, great move. Katerina's idea was that after knight g4, bishop g4, I'm attacking your d4 pawn too many times. I will threaten bishop f3 and take on d4. Okay. So, you see, let's show like if not bishop g2, yes, knight g4, bishop g4 is simply very difficult to defend.
Okay, sorry, instead of after knight
yes,
g4,
here. Instead of bishop b2, yes, knight g4. That was the idea, bishop g4. And you see, that's like I'm attacking this pawn too many times.
Yeah.
So bishop b2 was played, knight e3, f takes c3. with a very strange structure, pawn structure, 2 doubled e pawns. And but still, you have to do something with your knight on e6 as well.
Yeah, absolutely, because the knight is a bit misplaced and it needs to join the game in some way. Maybe knight before knight c6 can be an atypical maneuver.
No, this is actually typical maneuver. You're absolutely right. But
well, mostly you bring the knight from b8 directly to c6. The old maneuver in b8, a6, b4, c6 looks a bit artificial to me.
Yes, but you know, you have to find this balance during the opening, because sometimes it's very concrete. So you play c5, knight e6, you support this c5, because it's very important to play c5 in the Grunfeld, because you are fighting for the center. Yes, so white has a very strong center, so you have to attack it. So it's a very, then okay, you achieved it, then you can like reroute your knight.
Yeah, and now rerouting the knight is even gaining a tempo against the queen. So I'm curious to see if knight b4 will be played. Yeah, I think so.
No, yes, I think that's why Nana played actually rook c1. So after knight b4, she will be able to play queen b1, and then knight c6 will be met by rook c5. I will take your pawn. Yes.
Oh yeah,
that's why.
So it's important to be careful.
And f5, that's actually, I think, a very interesting move, because she wants to play knight b4, queen b1, bishop e4. That was the idea. So she needs, and she also fixes this e3 pawn. I like this move very much. Very positional move, actually fixes the structure and has some tactical ideas as well. Nana tried to avoid it, but still, bishop a3, knight b4.
Knight to e1, trying to change the bishop. And
to take with the knight. I think she wants bishop g2, queen, like knight g2, knight f4 then.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Here the white pawn structure is a bit weak. I was thinking if black should be bringing the bishop to h6 in order to attack the pawn on e3. Oh, a5, just protecting the pawn on b4, and the knight is on f4, as you said, and attacking the pawn on g2, which would be a fork. Now I think with the king would be a reasonable take, because then you keep attacking g6, and black protected with queen f7, a pair of rook at exchange, and white is bringing also the rook to the c file.
Well, maybe Nana can actually make this work. The knight on f4 is really very stable, and well, I control the c5, the c file for the moment, so black has to go for e5, a breakthrough in the center, and this g6 pawns in the long run could be very weak. So bishop b4, it takes f4, and maybe queen e6 here. No, queen e6 runs into rook e5 first.
And there we have 3 minutes to go before this format is finished, so we might be able still to see one game. Let's see, unless this game is not lasting under the moves.
Because rook d5, I think that Katerina missed rook e2. Rook e2 and queen d5. She had this tactical idea, but okay.
Oh.
She could win a pawn, yes.
Okay, now that we are in a queen endgame, actually those kind of endgame can really last a lot of time, because you keep giving check, and it's always okay. For the first time, one of the first time, Katerina Lagno has less time, and now, wow, Nana is changing the queen and is entering in this pawn endgame.
Yes, because I will go with my king to g5 as well. I had this opportunity, so this is actually winning.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Because your black is having an extra pawn on the queen side, but after a4, white will just not touch anything, and it's not just not touch, just don't take, and there is no way for white to create a pass pawn, and white is just much faster to promote.
Yes, this was a very unusual blunder on Katerina Lagno's behalf. Yes, but not so easy to see, because you need to transpose to the pawn endgame. Okay, Nana wins.
Nana wins, and this is the last game. So there is just 1 minute 26 before the C+1 section is over. Katerina Lagno is bringing more light to her room, and she's trying to get some inspiration from the outside.
Well, they repeat the same opening. She crashed Nana in the previous game. So let's see, once again, this bishop b5 idea. Bishop d7 actually, because I wanted to take on c6. Okay, Nana goes for the most concrete line now, knight d4 immediately. And if knight d4, then c d4 and rook c8 is coming. So she doesn't want to change the structure in the center.
Yeah.
So what do we have here? Knight e2 is a very nice move, and I want to play c3.
Yeah, c3 and maybe also d4. Yeah, and c3 is played. The knight goes exchange on f3, and I think it's not so easy to play the move d4 because e4 is hanging. That's why Black went for f5.
But here you also need to be careful how to continue. You want to play queen e1, that's what I wanted to say, queen h4, bishop h6, and rook h2. And c4 is exactly the reaction I was hoping for. You want to attack, but then I'm trying to show you that your e4 pawn is weak, so c4 immediately undermines the pawn structure. And well, here Katerina has to switch gears actually with white. It means that, okay, the opening didn't really go as I planned. I no longer have a mating attack, so I have to switch gears and, well, to equalize, like to play calmly.
Yeah. And how is, oh my God, now the f2 pawn is a problem, no? Ooh.
Mate, knight h3, queen g1.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yes. So that was, let's show like at least
wow,
this
beautiful.
mate, no? Could be possible, yes.
Yeah, of course. We go to show this beautiful mate. And no matter where this is a check. So it doesn't matter where the king is going. And we just have mate. Beautiful, beautiful. This is near to the sometimes you give mate on f2. But okay, wow, beautiful finish. We're happy because this match is getting more exciting. Another victory for Nana. So there is just a difference of 5 points. All right, my dears. So guys, we are gonna have a short break and then we will be back to the last section. 1+1, fire on the board, and let's see if Nana is able to do a big comeback. See you soon. And here we are back. Before starting with the last section, a quick shout out to the incoming World Championship coming in November. And just guys, you should know that chess.com has the full rights about the video section. So, and as a cool exclusivity, and they will be showing on Twitch. So stay tuned. November is incoming. The big match between Carson and Nepo will be extremely exciting. But here we have another match extremely exciting, and between Nana Dzagnidze and Katerina Lagno. The current score is 9.5 to 4.5, and now we are going to have the bullet section. Do you think we will see a comeback of Nana, Almira?
Well, it is really possible because I was looking at Katerina, and especially the last two games have shown that she simply collapsed. It's I know it, like every professional player knows this moment when there's something changed, maybe your sugar level drops, you start simply, your brain becomes foggy. And in Blitz, it's very important, not to blunder in this way. So I think that, you see, Katerina was trying to regain her composure. She's tired.
Yeah.
And so she mentally is preparing herself for this very difficult exercise, which is the bullet. I wanted to make a joke, that even for myself, we're calling the paramedics after the end of this match. I really leave these games like I was playing, like I'm playing them myself. So let's see.
Yeah, it started. We have d4 again, but a Catalan, a solid approach. Bishop g2 and bishop g2, c4.
Maybe c6 here. No, she still goes for g takes c4. We've seen this line many times. She goes for the immediate c5, knight c4, bishop e6. And we've seen knight e3, yes, previously. But with the knight a6, so now the bishop is on e6. Everything is going so quickly.
Yeah, especially Katerina Lagno is keeping lots of time on the clock. Instead, Nana is already investing. She's already 20 seconds down, and this we are talking about 1 second of increment. So it's important to make fast moves. If not, you will be in trouble.
Yes, but once again, how do you make fast moves in the position where almost every move is based on a calculation? If you play the opening, that's why I was thinking maybe in bullet you should have this approach, like play d3, c3, bishop b4, e3, to play the openings where you could easily make 20, 30 moves.
Yeah, that's
and I think that is probably the perfect strategy. But on the other hand, how can you make this against the Grunfeld? So maybe, try and find another move order. Here,
yeah, I think it's very important to choose an opening where you really where you don't have to calculate. It's not so tricky, because if not, it's very hard. You might go wrong, and if you invest so much time, you will be in time pressure immediately. She's already in time pressure, 20 seconds.
Okay, knight should go on d6 here, not on f6. It was a very important move. So this knight on d6 protects on b7 and also goes to c4. So maybe b5 is possible right now.
Yeah, this is a very balanced situation. The knight on c4 is active, and okay, but black is rerouting it.
No, I think she simply wanted to repeat the position. I think she said, okay, knight c4, then you see she exchanges the rook, so she wants to play, sort of an equal endgame.
Yeah, but this knight, I call the knight the swindle piece. So the piece that can always do a fork with a pawn and then another one. So it's
but
tricky.
When you have two knights, they sort of neutralize the swindle power, no?
Well, it depends. Actually, they might be double, because you can swindle both with both sides, with white, with black.
Yes, but mathematically, I really hope that this is a very simple, draw. And
yeah, let's see.
So maybe I can simply.
Yeah, now I think they have to change the knights, because
knight c4
and that should be an easy
here draw. You need to calculate. That's not an easy decision. You need to calculate the pawn endings. So
absolutely,
of course we know that knight c4 is a draw, but when you're having 10 seconds, it's not so easy.
Yeah.
But let's see.
But now it's again not so easy for black.
Well, you just have to keep this, position.
Yeah.
So you always have to have the square, so the white king will not be able to penetrate.
Yeah, but 1 second. My
1
God, the
second for
time.
Nana. Okay, no, they will repeat.
Yeah, she's moving with really okay repetition. Okay, good. The time is always so tricky. Okay, so we have 10-5 for Katerina Lagno. She's leading of 5 points, and there are still 21 minutes to go in this bullet section. So we need Nana absolutely to start winning. It's nearly a match point for Katerina Lagno.
Well, so Nana repeats the same variation, and Katerina here goes for this type of structure. Knight d4, cd4, as I told you in the previous game, rook c8 is going to be played. So how to characterize it? You know, the knight on e2 is not optimal. Sometimes you can improve it and play king h1, knight g1, knight f3. You see, artificially I improve my knight. But you also can play f5, knight a4, knight d5, and that's exactly what Katerina is doing. There are a few options, but don't forget that your pawn on c2 is very weak. So you have to protect it as well.
But I like the idea knight f4, knight d5. Maybe even f6 at one point.
g4, it's incredible, you know, such an avalanche of pawns, you know. It looks, you know, when you're faced with all these pawns, you're really scared.
Yeah. And in bullet, more than in other time control, the initiative is extremely important.
So let's see, rook c5, then you can double and triple on the c file. So Nana's idea is to play queen c7, rook c8.
Yeah.
And to
okay, rook c1, probably rook c8. Okay, but rook c8 is still might be a dangerous to leave the f file. I don't know if something like f take g6 and then rook f7 could be an idea. Oh, queen f3.
Yes, I think she just wants to give it all up and to concentrate, yes, on some attacking chances. She wants to play h4, h5 exactly to open everything.
Yeah.
I don't know why Nana played bishop e5. I think rook c2 was.
Yeah, rook d8 is very strange.
Wait, where's this? Rook c2, queen c2, rook c1. The rook on c8 was actually hanging. But then maybe queen d2 and checks. Okay. It was complicated to calculate in bullet. You know, I'm still treating this like a classical game, and the position has changed. Katerina managed to take all the pawns right now. And what is going on?
Yeah, now the queen might go to g4. Ooh,
exactly.
Ooh. But not
but queen h5 now.
No, but now white is losing. Black is losing a piece, and so now it's over. I think queen g4 was such a good opportunity for black.
Yes, you're absolutely right. But now I understand how difficult is it to play bullet. You know, while I'm trying to explain something, I would already lose on time, I think, several times. So I can
exactly.
The pressure is on the players, and
and now it's so few time. Oh my God, with 0.04.
She has less than 1 second. It's very important for us that you remind us of the time, because I simply don't see these numbers.
Yeah, and I see she's moving with 1.4, 1.2. The time 1.2. Oh, no way. Oh, no way. It seems like 0, but yeah, it's so hard. It's really so hard. When you are on playing with 1 second, it's just impossible.
Well, now, you know, this bullet, I feel like, especially when Alessia is commentating, like, I feel like we are at the big stadium, you know, we are supporting some Russia, you know, Georgia match, and, you know, we are the football commentators, you know, so.
Yeah, but really at the end, I feel like it's really a lot. I feel like Nana wants always to play good moves, no?
Exactly.
And the problem is that with 1 second of increment is really a matter of milliseconds. And once your mouse is even a bit too slow, not smooth, is not moving smooth, you lose on time. So you cannot let yourself in that situation, because it's clear that after 10 moves, one moment your mouse is slipping away.
But you know, on the other hand, Alessia, I wanted to say that here we see this difference between the professional player culture and, for example, the new wave of streamers, the new wave of blitz exercise. Professional chess players and like as I see Nana, I think they're not used to bullet format. That's why,
Yeah.
even though this tournament offers them an incredible opportunity of trying of playing this format, and this is a very difficult exercise. But as for my personal experience, I know that the bullet could never enter the scope of my training. It was simply harmful for my chess and as considered by my trainers.
Yeah.
So I feel that even Katerina or Nana, you know, they're not really used to this type of of fast games. It's I really believe that you need to have a lot of training.
Yeah, no, I agree. Is different than is far way different from classical chess. Actually, there is a series, some videos on chess.com done by Aman from Chessbra that explain some tricks and how to deal with bullet. And sometimes even they suggest, for example, to even sacrifice an exchange in some situation that even if is not in classical chess you will not do. Sometimes if you have initiative and you can pressure, it can.
Yes, Katerina actually, while you were explaining, you know, I had a look at the board and Katerina actually won very convincingly.
Yeah, let's see this last moment. Queen f2 is attacking the bishop. And yeah, if white is moving,
an exchange up actually in this position.
Yeah,
she can simply bring rook b8, you know, and with the idea of mating on, yes, exactly, it doesn't really matter, or rook b2, then it depends on white moves, of course, but this position is hopeless. Okay, let's have a look what is happening now. Okay, this opening once again. So
they are really going, they really prepare their opening and they believe in their preparation. They are going for it because we didn't see much changes here. Any changes?
Yes, Nana tried to play 5 in one game and that's it. Yeah, they stayed true to their preparation and I really like it, you know. It's also very important training for them. They see what ideas work, and they can use it in classical chess as well if they feel the position. So you see, now she used another plan, Katerina. She moved she brought the queen to f2 and the knight to g3. She wants to play h4, h5.
Yeah, h4, h5, and h4 is on the board. I feel like, yeah, look at the time difference. 50 seconds against 20. 30 seconds more are so helpful here.
Yeah, I have the feeling that Nana didn't adapt to this bullet. You know, it's very difficult. Yes, first you play 5 + 1, 3 + 1, and then this is a huge change, like 1 + 1. She didn't adapt to this change of gears.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, bishop c6. I think Katerina is a much more practical also in this bullet version. She make moves faster.
She's once again this is a pure example of a classical school style player. So that's why she moves come to her easily. You know, she knows where the best square for the piece, how to improve the piece, which piece to exchange. So then it becomes intuitive. But let's see. I feel here once again Nana has some initiative. You see the pawn on e2, queen e3, the king.
Just 1 second.
She has 1 second once again. You know, all what I said doesn't really matter then. Yes, she lost once again. I was trying to analyze it rationally, but it doesn't really matter. Yes, unfortunately, time is the most important factor here.
Yeah. Now it feels really hard for Nana. She has 8 points to recover and 12 minutes to go. So she has to win almost 1 game every minute, more or less. So she needs to win it fast. Let's see.
It's sort of a different Fast and Furious scenario, you know, this.
Exactly.
Okay, Katerina,
Fast and Furious chess version.
Yes, Katerina Lagno has a very comfortable position after the opening. As you can see, she has the central pawns. Nana has to attack the central pawns with c4, but Katerina doesn't have any problem at all. All her pieces are on perfect squares. So bishop d5, what to do? Knight c4 here. Maybe knight c5. No, knight c5 gives the e5 pawn, so not knight c5. Can I play e4? Yes.
Okay, e4. The knight is going to d4.
Maybe here knight c5. I wanted to play. So Katerina plays a6. And what happened?
Oh, bishop a3. Look at the queen. It's gone.
Oh no.
No, the knight.
What is going on?
Queen is hanging.
What is going on?
Oh no, again? Hello? Oh my God, that's incredible. The queen is hanging so long and white is attacking again, but now the queen is escaped. Oh no, I cannot believe this.
Well, I'm completely speechless because I feel, you have this cobra in front of you and it hypnotizes you. You have the queen, but I don't really understand. Like, oh my God, the nerves, that's the first time I think, the queen on prise for so many moves.
I'm under shock.
Are we sure that this was the position?
It's incredible. I'm sure that this is the position and that this was the position, but it's incredible. I can't believe it.
Maybe at each move they were pre-moving and they said, okay, didn't take, she will take the queen back. I pre-move, but she still didn't take the queen away, and
yeah. No, it's absolutely insane. And this can happen just, this can happen just in bullet chess.
Yeah.
That's why I love bullet chess.
Oh no, this is I'm too old for this stuff. my heart.
One day you will win the bullet chess championship of chess.com.
Oh yes, this is such a long way, such a long shot, I believe. Okay, but now Nana is winning. So she, as you said, she needs to win almost every game. So she will go for it. She will go for it in every game.
Yeah. Okay, we have a mate on the board. Checkmate. New game, 6-13, 9 minutes to go.
Needs to make them last also longer, is what I understood. Yes, so because you have very limited time at the end.
Yeah, exactly. There are less than 9 minutes right now, 8 minutes, 50 seconds. So she has absolutely to try not to lose and try to keep the game going longer. Yeah, so again, another Grand Prix variation.
Yes, we have this thematical battle. Yes, Grunfeld against the Grand Prix, some Sicilians. It's a very interesting match, actually, as a player. It doesn't matter if there are blunders, it's absolutely natural, but it's very interesting for me to watch because I've picked up already a few ideas. Somehow we'll play a tournament, the World Cup. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe I can use some of those ideas. It's very interesting.
Yeah, good luck there.
Yeah, well, if we will manage, to get there, it's like
yeah, of course.
During the pandemics, it's very easy to plan something. I was really hoping that things will get back to normal, but it takes some time. And I'm really
we are slowly on the right way. I'm tomorrow getting the second dose of vaccine. Let's hope so.
Of course. So Katerina Lagno goes for the same plan. Yes, knight g3, h4, h5. She wants to weaken Black's king. And I always feel that Nana reacts very well against this plan, but then she blunders something. She takes time. That's what you said. She takes time. She makes the best move, but unfortunately, this is not enough. When she's down to 1 second, it doesn't make any difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really like the way
she's doing a brilliant job. Nana is doing a brilliant job here.
So I had this idea in mind to play knight g4 and queen h7 and to bring the queen, you know, to the h file and to try to mate. But she won the pawn on e4. Still, this is not clear at all because king safety is very important. So there are some ideas for white once again.
Yeah, and both kings are very weak. Oh my god, and now are getting even weaker. The g file is open, but maybe black is running faster. And so the white king is feel a bit embarrassed there. Yeah, maybe, oh wow, beautiful, bishop d3. Oh no.
No, bishop d3, queen d3. Yes,
Yes.
I saw this, yes. I can see your potential, Alicia, you know. you are like this attacking player, you know, who sees every tactical idea.
Yeah, exactly. But sometimes then doesn't work. Okay. Ooh,
What
that
happened?
was probably queen d1.
Yes,
Yeah.
queen d1, queen f1. As you can see, not so easy to spot during the bullet, and Nana is 4 seconds. There's 5 seconds left, and that's yeah.
Now
F6
we are in a pawn endgame, but look at the king.
Yes, but f6 was a very nice move. You know, you give up the pawn in order to take the pawn in f4. So they're still playing. Katya will simply create the pass pawn and then bring the king.
Yeah, this is just over. All right, so we have 5 minutes to go. So just a miracle could save Nana here, I feel.
Yes, actually this score 14-6 does not reflect, you know, the true course of the games.
Yeah.
I feel that like Nana could easily have like, if not 2, but 2 or 3 points more. Then this match could easily go like both ways.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like this bullet version is a bit harder for the type of player that we have seen. No, Nana is playing really very well, but then in time trouble, she's suffering more than Katerina, and so the bullet is really not helping her.
Yes, let's see. This is actually one of the positions which we still haven't seen in this variation with c4, d4 pawns and c5, you know, once again attacking the center with the bishop on b2 and knight f3, knight d2, which is a very solid approach for white. I cannot move my d pawn because I will lose the bishop on b2.
Yeah.
So white has to, I was thinking, is there a possibility to play knight e5 and f4, but now d4 is hanging and d5 is a very nice move.
Yeah, and maybe also c5 then?
Oh, c5, I wouldn't dare, I don't know, like...
yeah, maybe the pawn are over pushed then.
I feel like, well, you have a very nice central, like pawns d5, you have a lot of space here.
Yeah, then is always the question: can I protect this overextended center or is weak? Okay, now she plays c5, but with a tempo because she's attacking the knight. Okay, maybe queen. Okay. Oh yes, changing everything. And
queen c3. It's a very nice tactical idea.
Tactic, Pazarach, and now a knight might get to e6 and is a deadly knight. Yeah, and then maybe d6. There are many ideas. Still h4, h5 is a very powerful idea. Oh, g5. Beautiful.
Well, here certainly Nana has the upper hand, and she needs not to blunder in this game. She needs to stay alive in the match and just to put, like, protect it, like rook d1, you know, to protect her pieces.
Queen e5, I think, and it's over. Yeah, f7 and then queen g7. Boom. Beautiful. Yeah, and Katerina is resigning, so we might see our last game today. There are 2 minutes to go. If this game is will be played till the last second, this might be our last game, guys.
And we are going to interview the players, right, Alicia?
Yes, after after the match.
So please stay tuned. It's okay here. I like, even if it's our last game, I still wanted to explain to you that this one of the positions with which we haven't seen here, Nana allowed for white to take on c6. You have the c6 pawn, and Katerina is actually using a very thematical plan. She plays queen e1, queen h4. Normally you were supposed to play, like, from what I remember that I studied, you play bishop d2, b3 first. You first stabilize your queen side, and then you go for queen e1, queen h4. I don't really like this knight a4. This knight on the rim is dim, but
yeah, that's true. Maybe the knight can come back after b3, knight b2, knight c4, trying to come back. Queen got exchanged.
Yeah, I have the feeling it's very just too slow. Yes, it's still Katerina is leading in this match, so she can do pretty much anything in this game. So the d6 pawn is weak, e5 is necessary. So probably yes, take on e5, knight takes e5, and if bishop takes, then f takes, and you will have a lot of problems with your bishop on c8.
Yeah, that's true. The bishop looks closed. Let's see. Here, theoretically, why should black should try to activate the bishop, because this bishop on b7 is blocked, but it's not so easy. Maybe black should start to push pawns.
Well, ideally, like if queens would be on board, you need to play b5, c4, sacrifice the pawn or open the position. But here you can simply play like the endgame slowly. c4, open the diagonals. So what to do? Maybe d4 here. Okay, d4 was played, but
maybe an idea can also be bishop b7 and then c5. Or c5 immediately.
c5 first. Yes, this is the right idea. You're absolutely right. So
and now the bishop are getting some good diagonals, and now also Katerina Lagno is in time trouble. You see 10 seconds, they're actually she has less time.
Yes, but it's very difficult also for her to probably to motivate herself. You know, she knows that this is the last game. She won the match, so it's not so easy to find the motivation to continue. And Nana is actually playing a brilliant game here. Look at these bishops and the pawns, everything. She won a very nice game. Like, she will win.
Don't talk too early. But yeah, it's a nice victory. And as you can see here, the time is 0-0-0. It means that the match is over. 14-8 points. Big congratulations to Katerina Lagno that advanced to the semi-final of this event, Women's Speed Chess Championship, organized by chess.com and FIDE. So your prediction was right. You said that you thought that Katerina Lagno was slightly
slight favorite. Yes.
Yeah, and she won the match. So you see, good profit.
Well, I gave you the odds, you know, then.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know, like, I've played the girls so many times. I really experienced. I have the painful experience on playing them myself, so I really know how strong they are.
Oh yeah. All right, guys. So we're gonna listen directly from them. How hard was this match? So we will come back in a short moment, and we will have the player here with us for an interview. Be right back. And here we are back, and we are with the two players. Welcome Katerina Lagno and welcome Nana Dzagnidze. Of course, big congratulations to you, Katerina, for winning this match with 14-8. And Nana, you had a beautiful last game. How do you feel about this match?
First of all, hello everybody. Yeah, in the beginning, I think I lost several games. I mean, in the beginning. So after that, I had a couple of winning games, which I spoiled absolutely with the white, especially absolutely winning game. And after that, I don't know. I mean, Katya, I think, plays stronger online blitz than me. So yeah, results I think speaks itself. So yeah.
But Nana, somehow I believe that you didn't have so much experience in bullet. You know, I try to explain that as professional chess players, we don't really train in bullet.
Yeah, I'm not that experienced. Overall, I mean, online chess is not a cup of tea for me, but yeah. I'm trying to improve, you know, because recently I started to play regularly online bullet and blitz games also, and I think I'm improving. but yeah, this time it wasn't enough, I guess.
Katerina, congratulations. You know, this was actually quite an impressive performance. So tell us a little bit more about your opening preparation, because it seems that it was very thematical match. I enjoyed it very much. A lot of ideas. Maybe I can use one or two. So tell me, like, tell us our.
I mean, better not. Don't use it. Don't try it at home. I mean, no. We played so many times with Nana already. So that's okay. With white and with black. So yes, of course, I prepared something, but then it was also, you know, some unexpected lines we had. So well, anyway, it was a tough match, and Nana was right. She was winning in several games that she couldn't win, and of course after that I won. I started to win game after game. Yes, I felt like, okay, it's, you know, it gives me some confidence.
And a question to Katerina, do you think there is, you did a different preparation for the different time control? Because 5+1, 3+1, 1+1, they are very different between each other. Did you have a different approach to them?
No, but as you could see, you know, I play e4, and after d4 I played knight f6 g6, so nothing special.
But I noticed that you moved really extremely fast at the beginning.
As you know, already in the end of the match, I was quite tired. I think Nana also, and the last game of 3 and 1 time control, it showed it, yes, very clear that I missed knight f2 check and queen b6 check. But well, it's blitz and it happens. So I just tried to, you know, to be focused, to stay focused till the end, and yeah, and it worked out.
Well, and I had the feeling that once again that well, to play those formats, you really need to be physically very strong. So I wanted to ask both players, Nana, how do you work out actually? You know, how do you prepare for your chess tournaments to stay in shape?
I'm trying to do some exercises regularly. I mean, I think every chess player do the same. When you play on high level tournaments, you have to do. I mean, you have to be fit. So yeah, nothing special. I think everybody do more of the same. Some fitness, some running. Yeah.
Yes, I know that Katerina, she mostly runs, yes?
Yes, but now here's a bicycle time.
Okay. So after the match, you will train.
Probably tomorrow. Today I'm a bit already a bit lazy, you know, and it's and a bit too late. But yes, during the summer I like you know, to go outside. But right in Moscow right now it's too hot. It's plus 30 already in the morning. So you have to be quick, you know, if you want to go outside. It's like you have to start to do something at 7 a.m., not later.
But it's very good to keep in shape, and actually during the pandemic to use a bicycle at home was a very easy way to keep fit and to keep doing some exercise that is always important for everybody, but also for competitive event. So I think that I have a last question. Katerina, you're going to face the winner between Arika Dronovali and Anna Muzichuk. Is there one opponent that you're more scared of?
Scared.
Katerina is
Come on,
she's
but
not
I'm
scared
already
of anything.
too experienced to be scared.
I like to hear I'm not scared of anybody.
No, but no, scared, it's not the right word. So when you're a sportsman, you cannot be scared. You just you know, it's not allowed. No, I will watch the match, and okay, let's the strongest win, and it will be anyway. It will be interesting match. So, and I wish both of players good luck, and okay, we'll see.
Alicia, I just wanted to add that when you have 4 children, I think you're not scared of anything. You're prepared for everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So thank you both for joining. Big congratulations again to Katerina. And thank you, Nana, for taking part to this Women's Beach Chess Championship. And yeah, we wish you both a good continuation of your day.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
All right. So, Almira, we are going to have, this is here, we see now the bracket of the tournament. So as we said, Arika Dronovali is going to face Anna Muzichuk, and then we also have other other quarterfinals tomorrow. So
this is such an impressive lineup, actually. You know, now that I had a look, I'm really looking forward. I will actually watch this match between Hu Yifan and Bibisara Sobaeva. I think that it will be very interesting.
Absolutely. And let's remind everyone that tomorrow, actually, 2 quarterfinals are taking place. First, between Uifan and Bibisara Asuabeya, and then the semifinals between Arika Dronovali and Anna Muzichuk. So just one after each other. So stay tuned. They are starting at 1 p.m. Central European time, and they're going on for lots of hours. And then, of course, the last will be on Monday, 28th. So there is a big schedule here. Chess.com is keeping everyone busy. Productor, commentator, everyone, but there are really exciting match going on. So guys, appointment to tomorrow. Thank you so much, Almira. It was a really pleasure to commentate with you.
Thank you so much, for making it so easy for me. You know, this, as you know, it's my first, chess.com experience, and I really didn't feel like we did commentary for hours. So thanks.
That was very smooth also for me. So I was really happy. I also want to thank the chat, our producer, and thank you everyone. See you soon.
See you soon, guys.